Have your sports curiosity cured.
2:55 to go. First half action. Quickly to Mammoth. Back to Quick. Quick in the lane. Two-handed monster slam.
A veteran of the sports reporting game for over 25 years.
Get it down. Just missed the tag, hit the dirt.
To Lopez. They square up. And Soler and Lopez are throwing haymakers. They're going after each other. Soler is finally tackled from behind as the Angels and Braves are all out onto the field.
Breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams.
For Evan Moonshaw. Driest spell of the season. Driest spell in a long time for Edmonton. McDavid through Sergachev. Shoots it.
Net. Scores. David. The change of pace. The finish. Sensational. 2-1 Edmonton.
This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, here we go for Saul 641, Wednesday, April the 8th. Ugly, nasty night last night here in the City of Champions with a wild squall storm in our neighborhood anyway. And it was an ugly, nasty night in Salt Lake, although the Oilers did pick up a point in an overtime loss to the Utah Mammoth. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440 on your AM radio dial, on your drive into work or wherever you're heading out on a Wednesday morning. Hey, be careful out there if it's some conditions that were like yesterday morning. It's going to be a little slick. It's some parts of our city, so be careful driving around on your morning drive. Hey, you can also watch us, though, if you're not driving, on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM. Drop us a like and a subscription. We would really appreciate that. And we're also on X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. And as always, we are streaming on the many services out there on iHeart, on the TuneIn app, sports1440.ca. If you miss any part of any show, it turns into the many, many podcasts that are there. Check them out on Apple, Spotify, Google, even Amazon. It's free. Subscribe, select the auto download. You'll never miss a second of the show. Yeah, a hearty Wednesday. Good morning to you here from the Sports 1440 studios at West Edmonton Mall. Last night, the Oilers lost in Utah 6-5 in overtime. They do pick up a valuable point. And the way things shook down in the Pacific Division, the Oilers wake up still atop the Pacific Division. With that point, they have 88 on the season. Vegas defeated Vancouver by a score of 2-1. So Vegas jumps over Anaheim to 88 points. The Ducks lost to Nashville 5-0, blown out on home ice. So Anaheim stays at 87 and have quickly gone from the first hole to the 87-point third hole. But for the Oilers, it was basically last shot wins last night. And it kind of was. The Oilers got what they deserved. They were loose. The puck management was exceptionally weak. Not tidy. She was sloppy. So many things that the Oilers fixed. So many areas that they tidied up, that they tightened up, went the other way, and it came apart last night. Things like couldn't clear the zone at all. And when they were in the offensive zone, they turned the puck over. Goaltending was not close to being good enough last night. And on the subject of goaltending, we have to mention that the Professional Hockey Writers of Edmonton have nominated Connor Ingram for the Masterton Trophy, and very well deserved after everything that Ingram has gone through off the ice and has had a pretty darn good season this year. And let's be honest here, any playoff hopes, any playoff success rests on the shoulder of Connor Ingram. We may have seen the last time that Tristan Jarry plays a game for the Oilers this season. Looking at him, and the players it's almost like we're having a rerun here of how confident the team is in front of a goaltender. Now, if you look at a lot of the goals last night, you can't blame Tristan Jarry because a lot of the goals, well, okay, the one goes off of Wallman's leg. The first goal is an absolute pumper of a ripper from J.J. Paterka. The 3-3 goal, that's off of Wallman's leg. The 3-2 shorthanded goal, that's Nick Schmaltz. Pardon me, that's not the shorthanded. That's the first Nick Schmaltz goal. But Nick Schmaltz gets a gift from Dickinson. A soft pass to Bouchard. Should have gone up the boards. So that's your veteran guy. The second goal to Schmaltz on the shorthanded goal. That's the one you need to save on. Although Evan Bouchard plays it very, very soft coming back. But that shorthanded goal was an absolute killer for them because they're up 4-3 with the power play with 2 minutes left. Not ideal at all. The Oilers were under tremendous duress, were they not, in the third period? They never had a shift. They never had a shift in the offensive zone that lasted, more than 15, 20 seconds? They were not even close to being in the game. And honestly, to get that 1 point, you could say that's what they deserved. They were also a little bit fortunate. But again, congrats to Connor Ingram. He will be the nominee for the Oilers for the Bill Masterton Award for perseverance in hockey. And again, this is the guy that you picked him up off the scrap pile here. This is a guy that you got for nothing, for future considerations. And the opposition team in Utah last night, they're the team that's paying him about half his salary. So he's the guy that they're chaining the wagon to. I think everyone knows that in the locker room. Everyone knows it in the city, and that's the way it's going to be moving forward. A couple of notes, Connor McDavid, incredible goal last night. I mean, you run out of superlatives, and we're talking about the power play. Well, that's one way to score a power play goal. They didn't have much else on the power play, did they? But, he picks the puck up 170 feet away from the net, and it's just an amazing individual effort to go through. You're going through three guys basically, but mostly Sergachev and Cole. Incredible individual effort, and he scores one of the beautiful goals that he's scored in his career. So Oilers get the point. They're in San Jose tonight. They have it's a terrible back-to-back. The way that it works when you got to go into San Jose on a back-to-back, for the most part, unless you're flying in from Anaheim or somewhere closer, you have to go because there's a flight curfew. You have to end up going to Oakland. So you land in Oakland, and then you end up basically driving about an hour to San Jose. So they would have got in later. I would expect puck drop our time about 8:20. But back-to-back, and now they got to pick up at least another point before heading into Los Angeles on Saturday morning. Hey, let's welcome in the Duke of Delburne here on a Wednesday morning. Duke, basically getting last night, I understand, I didn't hear because I was doing some other stuff, but you were on the pregame show. Then you hung around here, and then you're up for some humanitarian award now?
No, not quite. No, I was I didn't hang around here. I was at home enjoying my afternoon. I was just watching the Jays game getting underway when there was still some optimism in that particular regard in the early. And I get a text from Andrew Walker saying, "Can you hop on pregame at 6:10?" And I thought, boy, they must be desperate. Hard times. But yeah, I hopped on with Walks for a little chat. We talked some Jays, talked a little Masters, and then also got into the Oilers ahead of the game. And then I did jump over here to the mall to watch the game with him and Donovan down at first round. And upon leaving at the end of the second period, get home for the third, think I'd watch it from the comfort of my couch before crawling into the rack. On my way out the door here at the mall, this couple flags me down. They did not speak very good English, and they asked if I could help them boost their car because they'd left the lights on while in at the mall doing whatever, one does here at West Edmonton Mall. And I didn't have any cables, but I had a battery pack, like a booster pack. However, it was essentially all but dead, having been in the backseat of my truck pretty much all winter, just as a lawn ornament, if nothing else. So I say if they could wait 50 minutes, I'll bring it inside here to the studio. I'll charge it up. Hopefully it gets enough juice to get them on their merry way. Fast forward about 45 minutes to an hour later, I finally left the mall parking lot in my truck without having gotten their vehicle started. So I'd like to say I was up for some, good service, good Samaritan type award, but I didn't even get the car going. I don't know how long they were in the mall and left the headlights on for or what, but we couldn't even get it to turn over, really. So I profusely apologize that I couldn't help them out. They were very grateful for my time, and unfortunately, I had to leave them there. They had somebody there with them, like they were sitting in the car while the thing was charging in here, and and I assume they gave him a ride home wherever it was they were going. But anyway, that was my night. Tough night for the Oilers. Tough night for the Blue Jays. Tough night for the Ducks. After they for the first half,
a great night for you, dude.
Oh, really good overall, Kevin.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Like, we were watching the Ducks game at first round, as we talk about profusely. They've got all the screens. You can watch essentially every game that's on all at once. They dominated the first half of the game, Nashville in the second half of back-to-back, and then Anaheim just imploded and just stopped playing even the closest semblance of defense that team can muster, and it was frankly embarrassing. Got run out of their own building by the Preds. But for the Oilers, I think I really concur with essentially everything you said, Kevin, in your assessment of the game, where it comes to some of the in-zone defending, coverage-wise, puck management-wise inside their own zone. I thought Evan Bouchard had a pretty tough night handling the puck especially. And the Tristan Jarry thing, man, it's so tough. And it feels like we're just, Groundhog's Day about this, regardless of what goalie it is. It's tough to blame him on some of those goals. And you talk about like you said, the rocket from Peterka, the first one of the night. Like, man, we compliment Leon Draisaitl for scoring that goal how many times a year. But then you talk about the shorthanded goal going to the far side. Like, there are spots where you say you'd love a stop there to hold a lead or keep in the game, whatever the case. So disappointing night for Edmonton. I definitely thought they were lucky to get the loser point with the overtime loss.
On the overtime winner, and I mean, Matt Savoy, it was just two bad decisions quickly to take a penalty. So he's taken on too much to go, like, basically a 1-on-2 to go enter the zone, and then he takes the penalty, and it's Clayton Keller on the power play for the winner. Jarry's down. Now, like, there was not a lot of views from this, but the puck actually went off the side of Jarry's head. So, I mean, he's down and the puck grazes off the side of his head. We had a text here from a radio free agent listener, 833-401-1440. McDavid was soft on that shorthanded goal as well. Okay, that doesn't start with McDavid. Sorry, RF. This, to me, that whole goal is on. You can talk about Jarry, you can talk about Bouchard coming back, but this is on Jack Roslovic. Jack Roslovic enters the zone with the puck on the power play with time in the corner to either set it up, ring it, stop, curl, continue on. There's 5 options. Instead, he throws a pass out to the slot into no man's land. And 3 seconds later, Schmaltz is coming down on a partial breakaway. So that's where that started. I wouldn't put that on McDavid there at all. Coming up on the big program, hey, we're going to switch gears a little bit. And should mention too, that the Jays lost 4-1 to the LA Dodgers. That's their 6th straight loss. John Schneider was tossed. It was about the biggest emotion that the Jays have showed in a long time. But the bigger picture, the Jays had bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th with none out, and they didn't get a run in. That was bad. And have to mention the PWHL, the game here last night between Boston and Vancouver. Boston, the Fleet win it over the Golden Knights, 5-1, about 10,700 in attendance. So that's a pretty good attendance mark. So congrats to the PWHL and their takeover tour. They had 2 games in Edmonton this year. So also last night, the Raptors get it back on track and beat Miami 121-95 and are now above that 6-pack cut line when it comes to the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. We'll touch on everything that happened in the NHL Eastern Conference because there was a lot to talk about. Out east because of the situation with teams winning, teams losing, teams giving up a late goal like Detroit again. And now the Wings are, in desperate, probably desperate probably to make the probability, to make the playoffs. Radio free agent lister comes back and says, there you go again, Edmonton media defending McDavid. Wake up, Radio Free. Wake up.
Kevin, I thought Edmonton media were the ones chasing McDavid out of town because we blame him for everything. How can we be both? How can we be both?
Pal. We're going to switch gears a little bit here on Sports 1440, and we're going to talk a little documentary and sports documentary because Ryan McInerney, they completed this a little while ago, a documentary about Glenn Hall. And this was the only time slot that we could get Ryan in because he's off to do a thing with Lionel Messi tomorrow. He was scheduled in tomorrow, but something came up with him, so he's got to do Lionel Messi tomorrow. So we got Ryan McInerney, director, writer, producer of Mr. Goalie. And the Edmonton, basically, debut of it will be at the Northwest Film Festival this Saturday at the Garneau. And we're going to talk to Ryan when we come back after the break. Also coming up on the big program, we will check in with Mark Spector as usual at 8 o'clock. Looking forward to our annual conversation before the Masters with Keith Stewart from Read the Line. He's at Augusta, and we will get all of his top picks, top players that he thinks could make some noise here at Augusta starting tomorrow. Cam Tate with another edition of Cam and Eggs. We've got David Schlemko, the former NHLer, for Cougar Paint and Collision, back in the saddle after his little vacation down south. Greg Wyshynski from the NHL on ESPN at 9:20. We'll have an edition of In or Out with someone other than the Duke and I. That'll be with Schlemmer coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. And then Max Miller from the Hockey News covers the San Jose Sharks. Again, the second of a back-to-back for the Oilers in San Jose tonight. 2 games, back-to-back nights. They need to have a better performance tonight against the Sharks. When we come back, Ryan McInerney, Mr. Goalie, producer / writer / director. That's coming up on the Kevin Carey Show on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're also streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win games with salad.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell. And we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me. GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street or business online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. The customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Welcome back to the big program. 7:21 in Edmonton. We'll talk a whole bunch of Oilers coming up after our next segment and into the 8 o'clock hour with Mark Spector. We're going to break away and talk hockey, too, with an Edmonton legend, Stony Plain legend, Humboldt legend, Saskatchewan legend, NHL legend, and that is Glenn Hall, who was part of a documentary recently produced, written, and directed by Ryan McInerney, and that's who we welcome in next to the big program on Sports 1440. Morning, Ryan. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440. Really appreciate it. And what's this? Come on now. We had you scheduled for tomorrow, and you're dusting us off for Lionel Messi.
Yeah, I did sign an NDA. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but yeah, no, I've had some great opportunities since doing this documentary with Glenn Hall and his family, and yeah, it took a long while. I work in the film industry. I worked my way up from the bottom of the totem pole, being a production assistant to an assistant director, and I had the pleasure of getting to be an assistant director on a lot of commercials with Lionel Messi, and being in South Florida, in between LA and South Florida. But yeah, it's been great. And then they heard about the documentary with Glenn Hall, and it was winning awards, and they threw me a couple bones, and I'm working my second Lionel Messi commercial tomorrow, actually.
Wow, so cool, so cool. So the Glenn Hall documentary, Mr. Goalie, I can't imagine how much work that was put into it. First of all, at what point did you want to, undertake a project of this magnitude here, Ryan?
I grew up being a hockey player in Chicago, and I've always fascinated with filmmaking. And when I played junior hockey and played a year of college, and I was a goalie myself, I wasn't getting as much playing time as I was told. So I ended up adjusting the sails, and my freshman year I was a film major and ended up focusing on film and getting into the film industry in South Florida. And I was really lucky. It's funny how I'm sure that many hockey players, when they get into the professional world, have stories like this. But I kept going to the rink, and I kept going on sets as like an extra, and I kept bumping into this one guy who I kept seeing at the hockey rink, and he was an assistant director on set. And one day he saw me playing a tournament with some ex-NHLers and some high level, like an Ironman 3-on-3 tournament. And he came into the rink with his bag over his shoulder, and I'm like, "Oh, Kenny, right? I know you from set." So this guy ends up giving me a job as a production assistant, and I start working my way up in the film industry. And he ended up being my producing partner and matched me on every dollar for Mr. Goalie. And it took 8 years to make the film, and that's a good friend who's willing to commit for that long. His name's Kenny Hansen, and great producer and assistant director. And so I told him we were working on a Netflix show in the Florida Keys called Bloodline, which was a great experience. And he got me on that job, and I was saying, "Hey, you know what? I have a great idea for a documentary that we could make at on the weekends or when there's breaks." And in those breaks, we went up to film all over the country. But going from the Florida Keys, like 90-degree weather, and up to Edmonton for a trip in the middle of the winter with negative 40-degree weather, it was definitely culture shock for me. And some of our camera equipment, with the batteries were freezing, but that's footage of Glenn Hall and his family and a bunch of other hockey legends in this cast.
Ryan McInerney, director, writer, producer of Mr. Goalie, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440 AM radio. As you know, Ryan, and we've had many discussions in the last few years. I got to know Glenn quite well, and the family quite well, with Pat and everyone else. And just an amazing, as you said, the family. When you started to get the ball rolling here, and you ended up talking to all the great players, and you talked to Glenn, I can't imagine how many dozens of times. Did you have that vision? How many times did it change when you were kind of looking to put the pieces of the puzzle together? And how did that move forward for you when you were undertaking the project?
That's a good question. Yeah, and it's kind of funny being taking a writer credit on a documentary is kind of funny because you hear many documentarians say this. These things write themselves, and I still remember going up to that first trip I was telling you where it was like -40, and we were getting interviews with Glenn, doing a walk and talk around the property, going to the famous barn and whatnot. And I was looking, okay, I knew what the story was. I've read his biography dozens of times. Growing up as a kid, I wrote, many book reports on it, and I was a huge follower of Dave Stubbs, who did a lot of great writing in the twilight years of Glenn Hall's life and post career, and so I knew the essence of what I wanted to capture. But I was like, what is the beginning and the end of the film here? And in our first trip, we found it, and once I had those goalposts, so to speak, no pun intended, I had a beginning and an end of a film, and I had a great interview with Glenn. And then 2 years later, we went back up and we got some more interviews. We did a backdrop of him in Chicago with all the surrounded by his Chicago stuff, and a Detroit setting and a St. Louis setting, and asked him all those questions from those time periods. And what we got was a nice puzzle that we put together. And yeah, it wrote itself, but Glenn Hall really should get a writing credit because we're talking about his life he lived, and that he really, wrote it into the book of life. And it's an awesome story. I think it's going to be very relatable to a lot of people, and we're really excited to bring it to Edmonton on Saturday for his family and his community to enjoy it.
So that is the kind of Edmonton debut. It's at the Garneau Saturday afternoon, 4:00. I'm going to go. I'm going to see you there, Ryan. So I'm looking forward to that. You were here in January for Glenn's funeral, 94 years. This has been a labor of love for you. I guess you could call it that when you look at trying to put everything together. How tough was it to coordinate all of the interviews and everything? Because if you look at the cast of characters, I mean, from the great players like Bobby Hall and Bernie Perron, who just passed too. So you must have had some difficulties to put it all together.
Yeah, more than the difficulties, there's a lot of blessings. And Glenn Hall was such a good person, a good soul, a good sport. He's when as soon as we got his interview, all the and Pat Hall had a huge help in this too. But all these other doors opened up for these people that wanted to come and talk about him. And we have a great cast where we have all four of his children. Of Scotty Bowman, who coached him, Bobby Hall, who shared a locker room with him, Jerry Cheevers, The View from the Other End of the Ice, Bernie Perron, The View from the Other End of the Ice, Mike Vernon, who Glenn Hall coached during their Calgary Stanley Cup win, Grant Fuhr, another Alberta guy who's good with the Hall family, Bob Plager, who passed away, was a teammate in St. Louis with Glenn, Red Berenson, another teammate, Darren Pang, which was a lucky interview that I got. And as I'm interviewing him, Darren Pang's telling me that he was the goalie in net the night that they retired Glenn Hall and Tony Esposito's jersey on the same night. So it was like so many blessings that just fell into my lap. And we also got Jordan Bennington's interview to talk about the modern, Glenn invented the butterfly. He was the first goalie credit, doing that inverted V, putting your knees together and your blocker up, glove up in that stance. And so Bennington talking a little bit about modern day, how every goalie uses it now. Yeah. And then lucky we had Dave Stubbs, who's an amazing writer and an expert on Glenn Hall. Stan Fischler, also an amazing writer and someone who I witnessed all of Glenn. Bob Verdi, who's a Chicago historian. So it's a big cast, but you're fitting an 89 or a 94-year-old man's life story into 89 minutes. So it's got a lot of diversity in its aesthetic and people talking about it.
For sure. Like Bob Verdi used to write out of Chicago for a little thing called the Hockey Digest, just a tiny little thing that used to get mailed out to people. Ryan McInerney with us, producer of Mr. Goalie, director. When you first met Glenn, Ryan, to when you did the final interview, maybe just touch on how that relationship fostered, what it was like. Maybe the trust factor probably came in with you and Glenn a little bit more as you talked and you kind of saw your vision and his vision, and he saw it and the family saw it. Maybe take us down that road if you can.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was over 8 years, and by the time we're done with this film festival circuit, and our intentions are to put it onto Amazon, Netflix, or ESPN, and we'll see where distribution goes. It will be almost a decade from the inception of this project. So, yeah, I want to thank the Hall family and for being so patient. But they're wonderful people. Yeah, I grew up in Chicago as a goalie and started skating at 5 years old, and I was a goalie by 7 years old. So I've had goalie skates ever since. But yeah, it's we go to the United Center and you'd see the jerseys hanging up. Tony Esposito, you hear the stories of him and the innovation, and then you hear the stories about Glenn Hall with his innovation of the butterfly, but also 552 games without a face mask, a record that will never be beaten. It can't be beaten, but even if someone wanted to try with a face mask, 552 games in a row, I say go ahead and try. But as a goalie from Chicago, I always looked up at that. Now you hear these amazing stories and they're always in your mind. But yeah, so somehow I find myself in 2017, right after the Centennial NHL, they're celebrating the top 100 players of all time. Glenn just got back from Toronto. It was early January, and from being honored by the NHL as a top 100 player. And I walk into his front door and he's, sitting there, and it was just like a pinch me moment. There was definitely, I was just in awe, and I was like, we started talking for like an hour, and I was like, wait, no, I need to start unpacking my gear. We need to record this,
Exactly. Yeah. I was lucky. I've told you, I've been, in the basement there with all the memorabilia, been in Glenn and Pauline's house several times with Pat and things like that. So I know exactly where you're talking about with the stories and things, in the sense that, Glenn could talk your ears off, and he enjoyed that, and he enjoyed listening just as much. So he enjoyed that angle of it. Ryan McInerney with us, Mr. Goalie, is the Edmonton premiere this Saturday at the Garneau, 4:00 in the afternoon. You can get tickets, wherever there's various websites. We'll talk about that at the end. But when you were putting this together too, Ryan, they always talk about the tape on the cutting room floor. And how much did you go? Like you probably said, okay, I need to keep this at, an hour and a half or so, or whatever your number was when you thought about it. How much would you have liked to just said, oh man, I wish this could go in or that could go in?
Oh yeah, there was a point where I was too close to the project and I was trying to edit it myself. I ended up getting connected with a famous editor who's an Emmy Award-winning editor, Patrick McMahon, and he played junior hockey and semi-pro hockey in Trail, BC, and he played back in the day. He's when there were no helmets and all that stuff. So it was very, very relatable, perfect person to be to editing the film. But yeah, we had a lot of discussions where I'm like, oh well, this should be in it, and he's like, does it need to be in it? So it's like there was a lot of push and pull with that, and yeah, there was a lot of amazing footage left on the cutting room floor. An editor doesn't like to hear that, but I think the very best of it made it into the film. But yeah, over 12 hours of Glenn Hall sitting in chairs, various chairs and settings, and talking about his life and different eras. And yeah, you wish you could put all the great, funny, cool stories, but we have to make it fit into an 89-minute film, and we did, and I think we got the very best of it. But I think over the years I will release some of the cutting room floor stuff onto YouTube, and I think that fans will love to see. I got videos of the inside of the barn and things like that. So it's very, very interesting stuff that I wish made it in. You can't get everything in, but relationship with Glenn Hall, I got to know him very well over the years, and his family, and it's just what a blessing it is to know the Halls, just all very down to earth, great people.
Yeah, no question about that. So you've had like debuts in Windsor and in Florida. Run us through that, and then how does the process continue with the release of this documentary?
Yeah, I feel like everything's been guided by a higher power. It's been great, to have our world premiere in October. We had it at the Windsor International Film Festival, which is a sister film festival to TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival. And so yeah, we won the People's Choice Award at Windsor International Film Festival, which was just a huge honor. And they did such a great job that I can't say enough about that festival. And then we had a festival in South Florida at the Fort Lauderdale International Film Festival. And as a filmmaker, this is where in the Directors Guild, my local is Miami. So it was great to have the Florida Panthers get involved. They did a screening on their practice facility ice, and we had over 750 people at that screening. And then we also had a sold out in theater screening at a theater in Fort Lauderdale, and it was 220 people, and they had to bring in some more seats because it was so full. It was wonderful, and we won the People's Choice Award at Fort Lauderdale as well, and we also got the President's Award, which was the film with the biggest impact on the festival, which was really wonderful. And now to bring it home to Glen Hall's family and community in Edmonton and Stony Plain area, that it's really special, and we'll see where it goes from here. Other film festivals and hopefully, like I talked about earlier, distribution, hopefully to someone like ESPN or Netflix or Amazon.
It deserves to be on there with all the other documentaries like Ice Guardians and things like that that are so well done. Anything you want to add here, Ryan, as we close it out? And I know you can get tickets on Show Pass and things like that, but maybe just touch on it. And I think everyone, as they've heard, it's at the Garneau at I think it's 4:30 on Saturday.
Yeah, and you can check it out at MrGoaliethefilm.com, and you can see a bunch of the kind of behind the scenes stuff on there. You can get tickets at the top of the page there. It'll take you right to that website.
Yeah.
I just encourage, if you have any friends there in the hockey community up there in Edmonton, let's help us sell this thing out, and let's honor Glen Hall and continue to. And I think there's already 60% seats sold out, so get there quick.
I think it's on the way to being sold out. Yeah, for sure. So, hey, Ryan, when are you coming in? So you're out in the East Coast and you're sliding in here when? Friday late?
Yeah, getting in Friday late, and really excited. I got a short film in the festival as well at 11:30 in the morning on Saturday. And then there's going to be the film at 4:30, Mr. Goalie. And then I'm looking forward to seeing Tutu, which is a documentary made by a local Edmonton guy, Scorgi, and looking like a great day at the theater on Saturday, and hockey all day.
Great stuff. Hey, Ryan, we'll see you when you get into town. Appreciate you coming on. Take care, man.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, that's Ryan McInerney, director, writer, producer of Mr. Goalie, and it's going to be at the Northwest Film Festival Saturday at the Garneau. You can check out, as he said, there's many websites, Mr. Goalie, like film festival websites. Just surf a little internet. Tickets are extremely reasonable. They are basically giving these suckers away, but it should be a full house. I think that, as Ryan said, they're getting close to moving that direction. But if on a Saturday afternoon, 4:30, you're home for supper at 6, I think it's well worth it to see the great life of Glen Hall again. 552 consecutive games without a mask too, but playing that many games consecutively, absolutely amazing. Hey, when we come back, we will get to some of your texts at 833-401-1440. We'll talk about the Oilers a bit more, and maybe we'll hear some post-game comments from head coach Chris Knobloch, among others. That's straight ahead on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Why should you drive a Subaru? How about durability, style, and an excellent customer experience from the moment you step into the showroom? And how about accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power. But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Up lost tonight, Coach. What happened out there?
Well, we played like our goaltending was, and our defense was an absolute disaster. Okay, no more questions.
Somebody needs a filter. Good filtration makes a big difference. Napa Auto Parts annual spring filter event sale is on from April 7th to April 13th. Save on cabin, air, and oil filters to keep your vehicle running clean. Visit your participating Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Sports 1440. All sports, all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 742 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on a Wednesday morning, the eve of the Masters, par 3 today. Man, that storm last night that zipped through, it was right around game time. I don't know if it was across the city, but, in Laurier Heights, it just pumped through. And maybe it was like that on the west side here as well. But, man, it was just sheets and sheets of sleet and snow. It was just ugly last night. We're not golfing around here till... Man, do you want to say the May word? You want to say the May word, Duke? May 1? Nobody does. Nobody wants to say May, but wow, we're April 8th. I mean, I 21st, 22nd, 23rd would be a miracle, you would think, but who knows? We'll see what happens. Text 833-401-1440. In case you missed it, the Professional Hockey Writers Edmonton chapter have named Connor Ingram the Masterton Trophy nominee moving forward, and there's some great stories out there with other nominees, but kudos to Connor Ingram because he's resurrected his career here in Edmonton. Some people didn't think he would. Kudos to Utah for giving him a chance because, they could have just said, whatever. But, so that's on Bill Armstrong, that's on the organization. And this could end up to be, a pickup that the Oilers would consider to be one of the biggest ones ever, depending on how long of a playoff run they go. Text 833-401-1440. For some reason, people harping on the 4-4 goal last night by Nick Schmaltz, shorthanded goal, his 30th of the year, by the way. Ron Mexico texts in. I'd love to watch the replay with you on that goal. McDavid flew by the guy with the puck, didn't recognize that Bouchard was going to be in a 2-on-1 situation. But you're acting like McDavid's hands are completely clean. Go watch it again and then come talk to me. Well, I said to Ron, I said, I've watched it 12 times. And we talked about this earlier because a few texts came in earlier in the show about how the goal developed. And I said, to me, it's on Roslovic. It's a power play. He's entering the zone. He's got complete control of the puck. He's not under pressure. He has the ability to stop, set up, find a guy. There's options galore. Instead, he throws it out into the slot, looking for Matt Savoy, and the puck's intercepted. And then bang, bang, it's out of the zone. And that's not a 2-on-1, in my opinion, Ron. Don't see it. But for me, it's on Jari, needs a save, and then it's on Bush. Got to come back harder. And if you want to place blame, you can place the fourth area blame on Connor. Am I seeing this play wrong, Duke? Or what am I looking at?
I don't think wrong's the right word. I can understand where these textures are coming from when you look at McDavid's play inside the offensive zone, but I personally don't see that as the cause of what develops throughout the course of the play. I see more what you're saying about the kind of prayer type pass to nobody in particular into the middle of the ice, and then I don't think it's a particularly good read by Bouchard about how to play it up ice. And then I think it's a bad goal. So I think several things compound all in one, and it kind of boils back to, it always seems like the last line of defense and your goaltender is where people want to, for the most part, heap blame. And I think it's fair on this goal. I think it's one that you want stopped, one that your goalie should stop from that type of distance. But I don't think McDavid is completely acquitted of any guilt on the play, but I think he probably is a very minor part in it in the big scheme of how the entire thing develops, starting essentially 180 feet away from the Oilers' goal.
How many? Here's a question for you. So the RNH goal, almost from almost a similar spot as Schmaltz. Now the difference is right-handed catcher, left-handed catcher. What's different about those two goals in your mind, Duke?
I didn't think it was a good goal on Vejmelka either.
Okay.
Now, I will say that as the right-handed catcher, to make that with your blocker save, yes, you have a stick in your hand, so it's there's a little bit less room, but it's also just not as natural of a movement. I think like that spot, low blocker, and it doesn't matter what side the goalie's on, the low blocker shot, it's a patented one for RNH, and he's proven very effective at it. And it's not an easy routine save, but I just go back to, it's one you want stopped by your goalie at the NHL level. So I didn't think Vejmelka played well either in the game. Don't get me wrong.
6-5.
It's a 6-5 game. My under prediction was about as wrong as it could have possibly been. I was right about the Oilers losing him. We got close, Kev. We got close to our shootout game prediction a few minutes away.
Wouldn't that have been something?
It really would have. So I'm hearing what you're saying about the comparison, but I don't think it's a good goal for Vejmelka to let in there either. So take your pick.
Yeah. Following the game, there were 3 interviews done post-game. Chris Knobloch, Colton Dach, who had his best game as an Oiler, obviously scored the 5-4 goal, a nice pass from Trent Frederick to give the Oilers a 5-4 lead. They had leads 3 times here. They led 3 times, 3-1, 4-3, and 5-4. But Dach, if he plays like that, he is never coming out of the lineup because he had 5 hits, hadn't played in a dozen games. Had 14 minutes of ice. So we'll hear from him in a moment, but we're going to hear from the head coach and get his thoughts on what happened last night in Utah.
Reviewing that game, what was the most disappointing aspect of that game here tonight?
Not being able to hold the lead. We had a few leads tonight, and they were able to respond very quickly. I guess the one lead they had, we responded very quickly too, but I guess it was a game where neither team wanted to run away with it, but it's unfortunate. It was nice to see the offense was there. We had the goals, but just too many chances against.
What areas of the game would you say that you guys didn't perform well, or Utah did perform well, that allowed them to keep coming back into tonight's game?
Our breakouts. So many problems tonight started with just not being able to get the puck up ice and having to spend time in the defensive zone. Where if we can get those breakouts, we're out of the zone. That's one thing, but we're also not tired and getting run down in our zone. But for me, I think that's the starting point.
Take a look at all the point scorers tonight. You guys made it a priority to try to get contributions from throughout the lineup. Does it almost feel like a wasted effort, wasting that and not getting the full 2 points in that?
Absolutely 1 2 points, especially when we had the lead late in the third period. And now we, the Dach coming back, getting a goal, that was tremendous. Thought he had a great game, among others. But anytime you don't get the full 2 points, you're disappointed.
That's Chris Knobloch following the 6-5 overtime loss last night in Utah. At the very end, he talked about Colton Dock, and you had to be impressed with Dock and Dickinson and Frederick. They played it all about, well, Dickinson played obviously a tad more, but they were all around the 14, 15-minute mark. Frederick played 14:44. Dickinson played 15:20. And Doc, as we said, played 14 minutes. You had really all 3-4 lines rolling. And I mean, the fourth line, beautiful goal by Curtis Lazar off the Adam Henrique pass. Hey, I have failed to mention, congrats to Matthias Ekholm. On that play, he picked up his 400th career NHL point. But, you know, you get contribution from up and down the lineup. And if you score 5 goals, you think you should win on a lot of nights. But Colton Dock, again, first game since whatever the day was, but I think he missed a dozen games, was injured quite quickly after he was acquired from the trade deadline, at the trade deadline from the Chicago Blackhawks, but picked up the goal, had a couple of other looks as well. Really early, right off the hop, he had a chance early. Josh Szymanski came out of the lineup with Doc going into the lineup. Here were Colton Dock's comments following the game.
Colton, maybe just take us through the disappointment of that result and where you guys maybe felt like things got away from you.
Yeah, it definitely sucks. Just kind of got to be a little more structured in D zone. I think giving up a little bit too much grade A's or chances in the slot. And they just got to bounce back and be ready to play tomorrow.
What were some of the aspects of tonight's game that Utah was able to kind of pounce on and capitalize on tonight?
Well, I think they're pretty skilled. I mean, their top six is really skilled, so they're able to find plays and make plays through us. And just got to have better sticks and keep eyes, be ahead on a swivel and kind of find our guys.
We know how much of a priority it is for this group to get contributions from throughout the lineup. Does it almost feel wasted when everybody's contributing on the score sheet, including yourself and the other lines, and not coming out with the W tonight?
I mean, yeah, it does suck that we didn't get the win, but I think we did a pretty good job of being resilient. I think that first goal, the fourth line went out there and scored right away. So it's always good to see when those guys can go out there and provide energy on the score sheet as well.
On a positive note, you provided a lot of energy tonight. You were finishing your checks, got in the goal column. On a personal level, how good did it feel to come back in that way?
Yeah, it felt good to kind of be back with the guys and kind of be back in the locker room and obviously contribute. But at the end of the day, we need to find a way to get the 2 points.
This could be a potential playoff matchup down the stretch. Did it feel like a playoff game kind of tonight? That environment?
I mean, yeah, I think all these games are going to feel like that. We're playing some all playoff contending teams here, going to finish. So we got to be ready to bring that energy.
And what do you guys need to do to just keep getting points down the stretch here?
I think just play our game. I think we know we have a solid game. Like I said, we could be a little bit more structured defensively, a little bit more on top of things, and just play our game.
Does it feel good to be able to play tomorrow and to watch this one right away?
Yeah, I think that's going to be good for us to kind of hit the reset button, get on the plane, go there, and go play our game again, and try and come up with 2 points.
That's Colton Dock, a goal last night, played 14 minutes, had 5 hits. As he said, get on the plane, get to San Jose. Again, stupid. Well, not stupid. It's the rules. You after whatever time it is, you can't land in San Jose. So you have to land in Oakland and then make the drive, 45 minutes to an hour. And then you get there. So it's not much later. It's an hour later than what you would like. But on a back-to-back, it's just adds more, stuff to your regiment and things like that. So coming up at the top of the hour, Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Also in the 8 o'clock hour, Keith Stewart from Read the Line. And our headliner of the day, it is Masters Eve. They've got the par 3 today. But man, people are fired up for what a lot of experts are saying. It's a little more wide open field than you think, even though there are some guys like Scotty Scheffler where the odds are tilted towards him. But people bringing up, well, he just had the kid, hasn't played in 3-4 weeks. And then you bring up Rory McIlroy, and, he's got a bit of a twinge in his back and things like that. John Rahm, out there. He's just out there. Same with DeChambeau. All these guys at the top of the board when it comes to odds and winning the Masters. Maybe it's a guy that comes out of nowhere, a guy that sneaks into, contention on a Saturday that is a little lower down the totem pole when it comes to odds. Maybe there's a Danny Willett out there this year. Who knows? We'll talk to Keith Stewart about that coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, along with Cam and Eggs, another edition from Cam Tate. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update Brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding. AWSwelding.ca. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Oilers lose last night in Salt Lake City, 6-5 in overtime at the hands of the Utah Mammoth. Clayton Keller with the overtime winner on the power play. Picking up the lone point, Edmonton finds themselves in a tie again atop the Pacific Division. Around the rest of the NHL, 10 of the games, all of which with playoff implications. The Habs come back to beat the Panthers 4-3 in a shootout. Senators top the Lightning 6-2. Jackets erased a late deficit to beat the Red Wings 4-3 in a shootout. Flyers top the Devils 5-1. Canes beat the Bruins in a track meet 6-5 in OT. Abs over the Blues 3-1. Stars top the Flames 4-3 in overtime. Wild over the Kraken 5-2. Canucks fall to the Golden Knights 2-1, and the Ducks get blanked by Nashville 5-0. Nominees for this year's Bill Masterton Trophy have been spilling out across the league. Edmonton nominating goaltender Connor Ingram for the award that best recognizes dedication to the game of hockey. Some other notable names across the league: Ottawa Senators Linus Ullmark, Sabres defenseman Rasmus Dahlin, and Carolina Hurricanes forward Taylor Hall. PWHL last night from Rogers Place here in Edmonton. The Vancouver Golden Knights fall to Boston 5-1, and out in Montreal, the Victoire tops Seattle 4-1. BCHL playoffs, local teams in action. The Spruce Grove Saints, they lose to Brooks 7-2 to go down 3-0 in that series. The Sherwood Park Crusaders take a 2-1 series lead, beating Black Falls 5-3. In the association, the Raptors back in the win column, 121-95 over the Miami Heat to give themselves some breathing room in the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. Elsewhere, Bulls beat the Wizards 129-98. OKC, they topped the Lakers 123-87, and Golden State Warriors, they get past Sacramento 110-105. In the majors, 6th straight loss for the Blue Jays as they fall to the Dodgers 4-1. They'll wrap up that series this afternoon with a matinee. The Yankees top the Athletics 5-3, and the Red Sox, they get past Milwaukee 3-2. Coming up in hour 2 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Sportsnet Spark Spector, Keith Stewart from Read the Line covering this year's Masters, and we'll hear today's edition of Cam and Eggs. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
5-time Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints, are excited to be back on the ice at the brand new Thompson Family Arena. Be part of the action and enjoy some of the best junior hockey Canada has to offer by experiencing a Saints game for your next outing. Tickets range from $10 to $17 with free parking and some of the best food and drink specials in town. For more information on tickets and how you can become a partner, go to sgsaints.ca.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Everything is going to be okay. If your debt has you feeling like you're in a free fall, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal allows you to eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we'll tackle your debt.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
The Critical Care On the Air Radiothon for Stars continues, presented by BHP and Parrish and Heimbecker. Your chance to support this vital service that delivers life-saving care to Albertans. Yesterday, you heard stories from Stars VIPs, very important patients, and how Stars has made a difference in their lives. You also heard from members of the Stars team and other key contributors. Today, as the fundraising efforts continue, please donate and help keep Stars flying and saving lives. Visit criticalcareontheair.ca.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8:01 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick with you here on a Wednesday morning, April the 8th. Nasty, ugly in the City of Champions, but beautiful where our next guest is. Time now for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Well, you know, March has turned into April, but the madness continues, and it is no joke at Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. No giveaways, no phony prizes, just a good old-fashioned deal. See more at northgategm.com as we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Good morning, Spec.
Less snow on the ground here in Jasper than there is in Edmonton, I think. I don't know what's going on, Kevin.
Like a squall storm last night, right before puck drop, like at 7:30. Looked out the back, and you couldn't see the garage. I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is insane.
That means Terra Pine should be open any day then.
I don't think we're golfing here till May, Spec. It's just that bad. When it is. Hey, before we'll touch about your little trip here at the end of our segment. But man, oh man, you guys announced the Professional Hockey Writers of Edmonton. You announced earlier this morning that Connor Ingram's the Masterton Trophy nominee for the Edmonton Oilers, and full marks, full deserved. And hey, this is the guy that the Oilers are hitching their wagon to for any kind of playoff run.
Yeah, for sure. He said, I don't know if it's good news. He said to be up for a second Masterton. Of course, he won one when he was in Arizona. So, but you know what? Here's a guy that I mean, he came out of the program. Yep. He trained up, flew to Utah, Salt Lake City. He was getting ready for camp. And the Utah Mammoth phoned him and said, yeah, don't come to camp. We don't want you. So he was like, what? Like, he says, I never heard anything like that happen before. I phoned the PA. They never heard of that happening. We didn't know what the hell to do. So as it turned out, you know, Bill Armstrong in Utah made a trade here with the Oilers. He comes here. He goes to Bakersfield. He slugs it out. Numbers aren't great. Gets his chance in Edmonton, and look what he's done with it. He's become the starter here over the course of the season. And I mean, there's no doubt who the number one is in this town.
And he probably is going to play out the string here. The games are spaced apart enough where, and depending on what happens on the last game of the season, if they need something on that game as far as points go. But you're right. Yeah. This is it. Like, I mean, this is what they got. I mean, after watching Jari last night, and you know, he just hasn't been good enough. And would it surprise you, Spec, that once the playoffs roll around, that it's Ingram and then Cal Pickard's the backup?
Only if there's a cap issue, and I don't think the Oilers really have cap issues.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they were squeezed and they needed the extra, you know, I mean, basically $4 million, I would say yeah, because really, does it matter who your backup is, who the guy is wearing a ball cap on the bench? Generally, by the time you get to him, the game's lost anyway.
I don't know. I don't know, Spec. I think if something happens and you gotta make a change, or like look what's happened the last bit. Someone's getting hurt. Someone's been injured.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like it's funny because Jari had to be better than Vamilka last night. Like he had more tougher chances, in my opinion, and he made some really good saves. Like he's made a couple of unbelievable saves when it was a 1-goal game most of the way. But he didn't give you, in the end he let in 6, and that's too many. It doesn't matter how you slice it, 6 is too many. The Oilers were horrible defensively. They were on their heels the entire third period. This was one of those games where they needed the goalie to save, which wasn't a very good performance on the Oilers' part. And Jari didn't save it, right? He didn't come up in his start. He didn't come up with a big start and grab you 2 points. He gets a little bit of a bum deal because once again, he goes in and the Oilers play brutal in front of him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess my question to you would be, is Ingram winning that game for you last night?
Well, no one knows, but I mean, I would have felt more comfortable with him in there than Jari. How's that sound?
Well, sure. I think we all do at this point, and including the Oilers and the Oilers coaching staff. But, like
again, hey, you're right, Spec. I mean, they were garbage in front of them. And I mean, all the things that they have tried in the last, 2 weeks or so, basically since the Florida game kind of, that was the bump there, before they still had a decent showing against Tampa Bay, but there were times even before that and then after where they tried to fix a lot of stuff, and they did, and they tightened things up, but everything went away last night. So you think that's just a throwaway, a one-off last night? Now, all the things they tried to fix and have been fixing, they went into the sewer last night.
Yeah, like the Vegas game, was it 5-1?
Yeah.
I don't think the Oilers were nearly as bad defensively. Not even close. And they allowed 5 goals, and Ingram was in net. And no one's blaming the goalie for that loss. So somehow they play even worse against Utah, and then it was way worse. There was way more chances. I mean, the high danger scoring chances were like 12-6 or something on natural stat trick for Utah. And we're blaming the goalie. Like, okay, you can blame the goalie. That's fine. I think 2 things can be true. That goalie last night, Jari, didn't stand on his head and save a lousy effort for the Oilers. That's the truth. And you would have liked for him to do that. But the other thing that's true is when you get dominated the way the Oilers did in the third period like that, you're not going to win many games. It's still Utah has a ton of talent offensively, and there's a way to play them. And the way the Oilers played them last night in a wide open game where they just tried to defend for the last 20 minutes, that's not the way to beat Utah.
That Connor McDavid goal was quite something. That's how you do your power play. That's what you do for your power play, right, Spec?
Yeah, that's a great strategy. Give it to one guy, walks through the whole team and scores. I don't know why everybody doesn't do that, Kev.
Exactly. But another beautiful goal by McDavid. And, the other, coming back to the lineup after missing, a dozen games, we've been just talking, and we had his post-game comments. Colton Dach was very involved last night, and there's a spot for him, on this team moving forward when he plays like that. And he's going to be he'll be a guy that initiates and a guy that is helping you along. He's not just coming along for the ride. This is a guy that's going to be pulling on the rope here.
Yeah, I loved his game last night.
Yeah.
The Oilers haven't had that young, hard-charging, guy that bangs you on the forecheck and, knocks a goal in. That's a bonus. They haven't had enough of those guys. They've been a veteran, older team for a long time now. And that bit of youth and exuberance and a guy trying to prove himself in the league like that's huge value. Colton Dach was fantastic last night, and he'll drag guys in with him. He'll bring Frederick along with him. I think if you put him on separate wings, he'll make a better player out of Frederick too. I don't mind that player at all. A young, excited guy in a pretty veteran, calm Oilers lineup. I think he'll bring everybody into the fight a little bit. He'll cause some stuff in the playoffs, which is always good, because it gets the emotions high and it makes you play a little bit better.
Mark Spector with us in Jasper. We'll get to that momentarily. Matt Savoy in overtime. Everyone saw what happened.
Yeah.
But I want to look at this moving forward. And do you think if Matt Savoy did this, if that happened to Matt Savoy 50 games ago, how do you think he responds to compared now where he is a lot more confident player and looks every bit of the part.
Well, and I think you got to say the team around him and the coaching staff. Like, remember when Broberg and Holloway in particular, he was playing for Woodcroft here, and every time Holloway made a mistake, he sat and he didn't play, and he'd play 2 shifts the rest of the game. The coaching staff didn't trust him, and that mistake he had to sleep on it, and it was, it was left a big dent in the kid. And in the end, they handled the guy so poorly. Him and Broberg said, "We're out of here." Savoy's a different thing. He's earned his stripes. It was a bad mistake. I actually saw some people saying that he didn't pull him down or didn't trip him. I don't know what sport you were watching last night, but in overtime, when you make that play and grab the puck and you're all alone by the net, behind the net, and you're going to go out front and maybe score, the ref makes that call every day. I mean, that was just an evident and obvious penalty and not a smart play. But he's got some stripes with the coaching staff. He's going to play in the first line tonight.
Yeah.
He's not going to play in the fourth line because of that mistake. He has guys around him that are going to, you can't sulk and mope and step on a Connor McDavid's line tonight and think you're going to, that's going to be a good idea. You got to get past it. You got to forget what happened. He made a mistake. It was a bad one.
Yeah.
When you're trying hard, sometimes you make a mistake. That's all. He's trying hard, trying to win, made a mistake. It happens.
Mark Spector with us on Sports 1440. What did you make of the defensive core as a whole last night, and in particular trying to clear the zone, trying to get out of the zone? Was that on the speed of Utah and the quickness of Utah, or was it just maybe some bad indecisions by the Oilers?
Yeah, I mean, we always look at the defensemen because they're the ones with the puck, and they didn't break the puck out as a group well enough last night. There were several scoring chances that came after Edmonton had possession, and had they executed a breakout, there would have been no scoring chance. So they gave the puck back a lot. Now, you kind of have to look at it and say, okay, where were your forwards? Sometimes your forwards are busting out of the zone, and they're making maybe in that situation when you have the lead, you got to give your defenseman a 10-foot pass instead of a 25-foot pass. There's probably some of that going on. I suggest a group of defensemen that's been breaking it out pretty well. Do they all have a bad night at the same time? I mean, Bouchard, for instance, he didn't have a good night last night, right? This was the bad Bouchard last night. He just had a rough night. That's all there was to it. He gave some big pucks up in some huge moments. And you know what? It happens. Guys have a lousy game once in a while. Everyone else has to pick them up. Bouchard certainly carried this team enough on his part.
Yeah.
But I guess I'd say to you, Kev, I don't know the answer to this, but did this turn into one of those end-to-end, fire wagon games where every time Darnell Nurse had a puck in his stick and he looked up, the forward was at center ice? I don't know. I'd have to look a little closer at it. But in the end, and Knobloch said it after the game, what sewered this team last night was their inability to break a puck out cleanly. That was the biggest factor in the game.
Yeah, and I think, they had some turnovers in the offensive zone, and even if you think about, the first goal that Nick Schmaltz scored, that's a breakout that should happen 99 times out of 100, where, Jason Dickinson, who's your best defensive forward, takes a really, really soft pass, a grenade to Bouchard, and instead of going up the wall, which was wide open. So these are those are easy to clean up, I would say.
Well, for sure. There's a ton of stuff that's easy to clean up. And the solution, these guys are so good. They could execute 30-foot passes all day if you want them to. But to me, the solution is usually get your forwards to hang around. Make it easier on your D-men. Be in position on the wall so that they look up the wall. They can put it up the boards, and there's someone there to accept the pass. Don't be the reason players go up the middle with the puck is because the guy they're trying to pass to is standing at center ice in the middle of the rink. That just tempts a defenseman to make a bad play. So all around, when Dickinson's making that mistake, it's a rough night. When Bouchard's giving pucks up the way it was, it's a rough night. They when you open the door for that Utah team, they're wicked talented. That Keller shot that wins the game, you want to save, I guess. He rifles from 22 feet right under the bar, a wrist shot. That
goes off the side of his mask too, though, Spec.
Did it go off the side of his mask?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so, I don't know what to tell you. So he gets his head in the way, but he doesn't, I don't know.
I mean, to me, again, it's a shot that is labeled top corner, but it glanced off the side of his mask on the way.
Inside his mouth. I didn't see that, but either way, listen, I'm not here to tell you that Jari was great last night, but when you give that group of talent that many looks, you put them on the power play in overtime. Don't be surprised when you lose, Kev. Don't be surprised.
I mean, you don't have Draisaitl and Hyman. I mean, those are two big nuts.
Still scored 5 though.
Yeah, that's a good sign. I think that's a good
really
sign.
good sign. Yeah, if you play a decent game defensively, you walk out of there and you win again. Yeah, last time they were in there, they won 5-2 without Draisaitl. So there's a difference between those games, right? You give up 6. Tough to win when you're giving up 6, buddy.
When is the first run of the day?
Well, I got to get off the radio with you, have a coffee with Shellcut, maybe a piece of toast.
Game of crib?
Probably a game of crib. Oh, yeah, for sure. We're not in that big a hurry here. Come on. There won't be many people on the mountain. It's a beautiful day here.
Where are you staying?
Done by 2:30 anyway. So,
where are you staying?
We stay at a little place, these little cabins over here called the Bear Mountain Chalet.
Nice, romantic. Did you have a fire last night?
Didn't have a fire. No, didn't have a fire, but there is a fireplace.
Why didn't you bring some of your wood up there?
Well, there's lots of wood here if you feel like a fire. Yeah, we got a dog with us. When we put a fire on in here, he gets all hot.
Oh, whatever. So is Wrigley, he's okay just to stay there while you guys go? Or what do you do?
No, I'm skiing. Wrigley's not staying. Shelka's going to stay in town here today. So Wrigley and her will take a nice hike. There's elk all over the place here.
What are you laughing at?
I'm just thinking Speck's going skiing by himself again, so it just takes me back to the Speck conversations, getting on the chairlift with strangers every time. It just makes me laugh. I wonder what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I wear a big bib that says "I'm a single. Come talk to me."
Okay, well, stay safe, big fella. We need you in one piece at the end of the day for Gregor's show.
Oh yeah, I'll be back to do Connor's show at 5:00. Don't worry. Now Gregor's out in Toronto watching the Blue Jays get beat up. Huh?
Back today. You think he's back today?
Oh, he's back today. Okay. Yeah. Boy, I hope he had some fun. I hope he had some stuff planned other than going to the ballpark out there.
No, I don't know if he went to last night's game. I don't think he was back already, but he saw that 14-2 game. So,
oh boy, that's torture. Yeah, the poor old Blue Jays. Yikes!
All right, good stuff, Speck. We'll talk to you tomorrow, big fella.
All right, sounds.
It's Mark Spector on the mark. What? Yeah, the boys laugh here because as soon as we get the video feed done, Speck. Like he doesn't even say goodbye. Like he presses the button,
so
he's gone.
On Monday, he cut it off in the middle of. He left in the middle of your sentence. Today, he left in the middle of his own sentence. He just clicked the X on his browser. He's still in the middle of talking.
So we might have to talk to him about that, eh? Maybe we'll discuss that with Speck.
No, I love it this way. It's pure comedy.
On the mark, brought to you powered by Northgate Chevrolet. This truck's for you. Check them out at northgategm.com. Hey, when we come back, it is going to be golf talk at the Masters. We're going right to Augusta with our old pal, Keith Stewart from Read the Line. That's straight ahead on the Kevin Karius Show. With the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Do you have neck or back pain? Ever go for treatment hoping for a simple fix only to realize your stubborn spine is basically a science project with attitude? Hey, we get it. And honestly, we're a little sorry because great rehab does take proper experimenting. But at Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we don't just toss exercises into the beaker and hope it doesn't explode. We start with the right diagnosis, then mix hands-on care, precise manual therapy, and evidence-based technology. The formula your body actually needs. Science and skill with gratitude, not attitude. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
All this month, you can get in the swing of spring with Pot for Dough at Nisku Ford. Shop amazing deals on their entire in-stock inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. You're sure to find the perfect ride. Then, with every vehicle purchase, you'll get your turn to Pot for Dough. Just sink your putt to win fantastic prizes like gas cards, big screen TVs, Blackstone griddles, and more. See dealer for full details. Find your new ride at nisqford.ca. Above expectations.
The Critical Care On the Air Radiothon for Stars continues, presented by BHP and Parrish and Heimbecker. Your chance to support this vital service that delivers life-saving care to Albertans. Yesterday, you heard stories from Stars VIPs, very important patients, and how Stars has made a difference in their lives. You also heard from members of the Stars team and other key contributors. Today, as the fundraising efforts continue, please donate and help keep Stars flying and saving lives. Visit criticalcareontheair.ca.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
Welcome back to the big program, 8:21 in Edmonton. Time now for the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing. The plumber to call when your toilet mysteriously breaks after your jalapeno pepper popper fueled game night with the fellas. That's mrrooter.ca as we welcome back our old buddy, our old pal, Keith Stewart from Read the Line. Good morning, Keith. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 again. Really appreciate it, big guy.
Hey, Kevin, I don't know about that commercial choice. We're talking about the toilet right before Masters picks. What's going on here?
Well,
I thought we were friends.
I thought, when you do all your picks, maybe you should have something like that. You'd get a sponsor, Keith, and call it the toilet pick.
Well, some weeks are better than others. But it's a pleasure to be with you. And, I love, if it's a major championship week in golf, I love being in Edmonton on 1440.
Well, we really appreciate you being boots on the ground at Augusta National. Just, you know what? We talk about it every year that we have you on, Keith. Just sort of paint a picture for our listeners, what it's like there. You've been there this week, and we're on a Wednesday. So it's sort of that day where everyone settles down and calms down with the par 3 before opening round and first round tomorrow, Keith.
Well, you know what? This is a little different than past years, Kevin. The field's a little anxious. First of all, we got a couple question marks at the top of the board. But then not only that, but this is the first time I've been here in a very long time where it has been this firm, this fast, where there's no rain in the forecast. There's very little wind. Guys are getting a little excited about playing some golf in some great conditions. And I think the tournament officials are even more excited to see what they can do with this golf course.
Well, just with you saying about the conditions there, right off the hop here, Keith, and I was reading yesterday about Tommy Fleetwood. He's got a 9-wood in his bag because he wants to bring things in really high so they can have the possibility of stopping on these tough greens at Augusta.
Well, you know what? This is a really good point. And the modern professional golfers, especially the men, when they go from course to course, they could be Pebble Beach or TPC Sawgrass that's only 7,000 yards long. And then now they're here where it's almost 7,600 yards long. And where do we score at Augusta National? It's those 4 par 5s. And Tommy talked about it. Guys are putting, Scotty has the 7-wood in there. They have to optimize their bag for those second shots on the par 5s. They know whatever that distance is, and they know they've got to just hoist that ball up in the air. It's got to have a high apex. Doing it with a 4-iron or doing it with a 9-wood. Tommy spoke about it yesterday in the press center. And, it just makes more sense to have something that they could get a little loft under because, again, I can't emphasize this enough. It is going to be a firm and fast test, which means you have to be very precise and you've got to get the ball up in the air as much as you can and land it softly.
Keith Stewart from Read the Line, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. So, Keith, you said it right off the hop with the field at the top players, all the favorites with some question marks. Maybe expand on that for our listeners.
Well, here's a good one for you. Everybody loves their trends at Augusta National. Coming in every year because it's the same golf course, first major championship of the year. Very similar fields. They love their trends. In the last 40 plus years, only one winner has taken 3 weeks off before the Masters and won, and that was Adam Scott, 2013. 40 years, Kevin, right? Rory, haven't seen him in 3 weeks. Scotty, Haven't seen him in 3 weeks. Last time we saw Rory was the back an issue. You know, his press conference, no questions about health, just questions about menu choices and speeches for last night in the Champions Dinner. Scotty, not the usual Scotty. You know, if we go back to when he won his first start of the year at the American Express, and if I told you, Kevin, that you could get Scotty at triple of his odds for that event at the Masters, you and I would have been all in. But it seems like his superpower is on pause. Someone's hit the remote. The mid-iron play isn't as precise as it has been, and that's going to be a problem this week. You talk about, approach play. Bryson DeChambeau coming in with multiple wins, playing very, very well. I don't question Liv as much as if you see the guys and, the eye test is like, man, these guys are hitting it really good, then they're hitting it good. But Bryson has failed here when it comes to his approach play. You have got to be super precise this week with those small little landing pockets on those super undulating greens that are going to be like landing it on a board of plywood. So, maybe there's a question mark there about Bryson. John Rahm, no question marks there for me, at the top of the board. The guy is in fantastic form. It looks like 2023 all over again. But some of these other guys, Colin Morikawa, we got one hole at the Players. One hole, Kevin, right? And he's still saying, that he's not fully up to speed and that he's not sure if he'll be able to play all week. I mean, talk about terrible timing for that guy. He won at Pebble. He was having one of the best ball striking seasons of his career. And this is a 2-time major winner. He was destined to do some damage here 6 times, 6 made cuts at Augusta. He was destined to do some damage here down Magnolia Lane, and Collins seems to be hurt. So there's some of the question marks I was alluding to.
So with your picks at Read the Line, as we've got Keith Stewart with us on the line from the Masters at Augusta, you've hit a couple already, a couple of winners. And you mentioned with Rory, and you've mentioned with Scheffler, and obviously a lot of the favorite money goes to guys like that. But is that why you're looking maybe a little bit down the board with a guy like Xander Schauffele here, Keith?
Absolutely. And you could tell, I mean, the books are very rarely wrong. And when you see his number, like just steaming down and just getting cut minute by minute, that's how many people who feel the way and are thinking the way that I am. The guy's coming in just incredible form. Xander, he's played here 8 times and he's been in the top 10 5 times. Like, that's pretty crazy. Like when you think about it, it's 63% of the time he top 10s when he comes down Magnolia Lane. I mean, that's pretty efficient. 3 of his last couple starts have been in the top 7. He was great at Riviera, great comp course for here. Guys that have played well at Riviera, like a Hideki that's won there, has won here at Augusta. Like all the signs are pointing towards a very nice ball striking week and scoring week for Xander here. And the fact that at the start of the week, he was in the high teens, even when we're talking about it now, he's probably in the mid-teens. He's probably the best value there at the top of the board.
When you look at your list that you've taken and picked here for the Masters, Keith, when you look at the guy that you're fading on, and you mentioned him right off the bat in Bryson DeChambeau, and you touched on it a little bit, but you're not the only expert that is looking at something like this. Maybe expand on that, why you think that he's fading a little bit.
Well, Bryson in the press room yesterday, he seemed fascinated by the wind. He's working on fine-tuning his wedges. He's thinking about ball spin rates with, the damp conditions in the morning on the ground versus the afternoon. Like, Kevin, that's a lot to be thinking about. Okay. The fact of the matter is in the last 4 starts here at Augusta, he has lost strokes with his iron play. This is a second shot golf course. You're going to hear that at infinitely. You're going to hear it infinitely this week throughout the coverage, right? You have to be a good iron player, and he hasn't proven that he can do that here. Now, the guy's finishing in the top 10 based upon driver and putter. If the irons ever came through, then the guy could win by 5. Don't get me wrong. World-class players won a couple times this year. But between that, so if the irons are missing, then there's going to be a lot of stress and anxiety with the short game. Around the green, he's been losing strokes in 4 of his last 5 starts here at Augusta. And I think that the combination of those 2 factors, again, to pick the winner, you're splitting hairs.
Yeah.
The combination of those 2 factors at the top of the board, Kevin, it to me says, let's go Rahm. Let's wait on DeChambeau. Maybe a Ronamink when you and I talk in a month.
Yeah. Keith Stewart from Read the Line, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Well, I have to talk about Maverick McNeely here with you, Keith, because at the Players' Championship, Brandon Douglas, the Duke of Delburne, who lines you up here every time on the show, he came out of the gates pretty hard at the TPC, fell off, but I said, you know what, maybe sprinkle a little bit on Maverick McNeely at the Masters. What would you say about a strong showing from a Maverick McNeely here, Keith?
Well, okay, there's a couple things that are going on with Matt McNeely that we like. The first thing is that he's played here before, right? So he's not a debutante. So he knows the golf course. He has some experience. The second thing is that in that showing, he played relatively well, right? So his game, he's long enough. He certainly can roll the rock. And, you know, the way that he's been playing on the PGA Tour since he won, 15 months ago, has been much more consistent, much more in line with, like, you know, the Top Gun status that we had for Maverick, you know, like kind of destined for him coming out of Stanford. So in the middle of the board, I might be looking at one or two other guys, but around Maverick McNeely, it'd be tough for me to argue against him. And you know what, I'll be kind, so that way he calls me next week or next month when I'm in Philadelphia for the PGA Championship.
He'll give you a call for sure, Keith. We always bring up one of the Canadians, and that's Corey Connors, because his caddy's good friends with a lot of people here on the program. And I've known Danny a long time, Danny Saul, his caddy. But Corey Connors didn't play the Valero last year, which was that alarming for you? What did you think of that? Because he'd won the tournament before. And what do you think about Corey Connors going into the Masters here, Keith?
Kevin, he doesn't go to Valero. I think that's great news.
Okay.
Now, TPC San Antonio and the Valero Texas Open organizers having a two-time recent champion not show up, bad news for them, good news for Corey Connors fans. And here's why. He obviously knows he's playing well. He's taking the week off to rest because this is a very difficult week. It's a tough walk.
Yeah.
It's mentally and physically it's draining. So if he knows he's playing well, guys that take time off are usually pretty settled. Corey seems settled. And if you look at his record here, you know, like he had back-to-back top 20s at the Players and the Valspar, and then all of a sudden he's just waiting for Augusta. And, you know, four of his last six starts here are top 10s, including last year. I think that on the placement board, can Corey Connors win? Can he pull a Mike Weir? Ooh, might be a stretch. I can't sit here and, you know, in full transparency, go all in on that. But I could go all in on a top 10 or a top 20, or if you even want to stack them with a top 10, top 20 parlay, have some fun. By all means, I think that Corey Connors is going to play very, very well this week. And the firmer and the faster, the more difficult it gets, the more it favors the better ball strikers, of which he is top 10 in this field. There's no doubt about that. We all know that.
And you've got Hideki Matsuyama as your dark horse, Keith. I mean, it's to me that having a dark horse at what I think he's at 40-1 or something like that. That's a little. It's just because he's not playing that well, or what are we looking at here? Like a former champion. So,
okay, so normally, if we were talking on a regular PGA Tour week, a dark horse would be in the 80s, 90s, or 100s, you know, to 1. We're talking Augusta National, where the last couple winners have been all in the top 3 in the world. So, you know, you kind of have to shrink the lens a little bit of what you're looking at. Hideki, again, comp courses like Riviera, very, very good. All year, his approach play has been spot on. One of the top 5 short game players in the world. He knows this place. He's won here. And then last week at Valero, he struck the ball beautifully, Kevin, beautifully. So the fact that he only came in T21 there, that helped us. That gave us more value on the odds board. And with all the focus being all these other players, that's the time you usually get a sneaky Hideki coming around the corner. And, you know, hey, if experience counts for anything, the guy's got a green jacket.
Chris Gotterup here. Haven't had a first-time winner since Fuzzy Zeller. Can Chris Gotterup end that long, long stretch of a first-time Masters winner here?
So that is quite the hurdle to overcome. And he in the press room the other day, even he kind of has eyes wide open. And I need people to be a little bit more laser focused when they're here. So what worries me about Chris is not the fact that he's won 2 times. It's not the fact that he's won 4 times on tour already, and that he seems to be every bit of a next level elite signature style player on the PGA Tour and could be a major winner at one point. It's that the way that he attacks the golf ball, and I'm going to get a little inside the weeds here, but the way that he attacks the golf ball is very steep. You see it. He's got a lot of shaft lean and impact. He hits the ball very, very hard, which is helpful here with ball speed, but it also gives the ball a lot of spin. We don't want a lot of spin here. We want to be able to control our distances. So with Goddard being so steep into impact and everything, I think he's going to have to learn his way around here for a year or two. Now, can Goddard play well like some of the debutants like Zalatoris and Ludwig had the last couple of years and finish top 10? Without a doubt. But I think in order to get across the finish line like Fuzzy Zeller did, the last debutant to do it in 1979, almost 50 years ago, the golf gods better be listening, because there's some other guys at the top of the board that certainly have the experience, like a John Rahm, 9 trips, 9 made cuts. He's got a win. He's got umpteen top 10, Xander, these other guys. I mean, that experience really, really counts around this place.
Keith Stewart from Read the Line, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. On the ground at Augusta National, getting ready for round number 1 tomorrow. For a deep, deep sleeper, for a golfer you think that might come out of nowhere here, Keith, like a Danny Willett years ago, is there some names that you can throw out there? And I want to ask one in particular with you, and that is Marco Penge.
Okay, so first things first. When Danny Willett won, he was ranked 12th in the world. This place is exacting. Do not be surprised if a very good player wins. 10 out of the last 10 winners were ranked top 25 in the world when they won. Okay, so looking further down the board, be smart about it. Put these triple-digit guys into a parlay, into a placement bet, top 20, top 10, make your money that way, first-round leader, any of those things. Further down the board, you're looking for a guy, has the experience here, runner-up twice in majors last year, Harris English, putts it good, chips it good, drives it well, Georgia kid. Like, that would be the type of guy I'm looking for. In fact, I like him if you're looking for somebody further down the board. Marco Penge has the ball speed. He has the talent. Another guy that's going to have to learn this place, but the most important thing that he's going to be tested at this week is his short game. It is not to the level of which the champion is going to have here. So that's what concerns me. A player like him, a player like Michael Brennan, these bombers, right? They certainly have an advantage here, but they're also going to have to be able to scramble, especially with the firm conditions, and that would give me pause on Penge.
Are there guys like, J.J. Spawn's high in the world rankings, as you said, but like a Jacob Bridgman or a Daniel Berger, can these guys, do you think, make some noise?
Well, I mean, at the risk of being redundant, we talked about Riviera. Who won at Riviera this year? Bridgman.
Yeah.
Right? Former college, ACC, Atlantic Coast Conference Player of the Year, went to Clemson, right nearby here to Augusta. I'm sure he's played here a couple of times. He is a rookie, but I think that he could play well here. I think guys in the middle of the pack that could play well, right around his odds. You got to look at a guy like Min-Woo Lee. He's had some good success here. He's been around here a couple times. Guy bombs it. Great short game, and his approach play is vastly improved in 2026. And another name, although he let me down last week and came in second for all my Read the Line, members and faithful followers, right? Bobby Mack. Lefties around this place, pretty darn good. Bobby Mack in big events has become more of a big game hunter. So, the Scotsman throws on a little sunblock down here. It's going to be nice out this weekend. I think he protects himself, but he keeps himself right around that top 10 again. Don't forget, he was top 5 last month at the Players. And, he's performed in some big stages here in major championships recently. McIntyre, Min-Woo Lee, couple names for you there.
Hey, Keith, this has been great as always. Really appreciate it. What's on the go for you today? Like, run us through what you do on Masters Wednesday.
Masters Wednesday, Read the Line. We publish everything in the morning. I've got a couple other articles I've got to send out. Couple interviews like you. I've got 2 more of those. And then this afternoon, pretty much pre-tournament stuff is done. I get to go walk out. I'll watch the par 3 contest, see a lot of family time. I miss my family and kids. So that reminds me of how important they are to me and supporting me being out here on the road. So I'll do a little bit of that. And then tonight it's just, it's Christmas Eve, man. Tomorrow's the Masters. I don't know how you sleep, but I'll try.
One quick one for you. When I was there 21 years ago, I thought I remembered us being on the course on the Wednesday and then going to the par 3 a little bit as well. But is the course is totally closed now for a Wednesday. Is that something that just happened a few years ago, or am I dreaming of what happened 21 years ago.
It's probably like a decade ago, but what
Okay.
they do is they close the big course for play. You could go walk around as a patron. You could go walk around and look at it all you want,
Okay.
but they close it for play to try to encourage more guys to participate in the par 3. So, there's no more practice rounds after 2 p.m. Plus, it also gives them time to work on the golf course last minute. They send the agronomy team out there and they work on it. And they try to get everyone focused over to that corner of the property over there at the par 3, so then the maintenance staff can go out and work their magic.
Well, I always appreciate our conversations, Keith. This has been great. Enjoy the Masters, and I'll be thinking of you when a lot of my bets are coming in.
Well, you know what? This is just prep. 5 events from now. 5 events from now is the President's Cup. International versus U.S., and I know I'll be back.
Well,
we'll be battling. So thanks so much for having me.
And unfortunately, we never had Ladislav Schmid. Remember 3 years ago when Laddie was on and he never wanted to talk about golf, and then you and him were really arguing about the Ryder Cup and going back and forth with the Europeans. That was hilarious, Keith.
Well, I tell you what, I always have a Ladislav, special card here on me just in case he's there. I'm going to bring up all of his greatest defeats. And, the guy's killing me on the Ryder Cup. The U.S. team's killing me on the Ryder Cup. I'm going to bring up all his greatest defeats. I'm ready for him. Don't you worry. You bring him on. I'll go for the puck. I'll go for the puck in the corner. I'm not afraid.
Attaboy, Keith. Enjoy it. We'll talk soon. Thanks, man.
You're the best, Kevin. Thank you.
Keith Stewart from Read the Line at Augusta. Man, there's not a better place to be right now as we get set for the best golf tournament going, which gets underway tomorrow. Par 3 today again. And as Keith said, they closed the course down, and it's been about 10, 12 years, he figures, about a decade since that happened. But they get things ready. They want to make the Masters such a family-orientated. The other thing that you've really noticed about the Masters, and it's without question, they have upped the game on their digital platform, social platform, and they are at the very top of the list with any other tournament going on. I mean, you can talk about the WM in Arizona, but this is at another level because they don't want to miss. They don't want to miss a generation of fans here, and that's what they're doing. So that's the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter, the #1 overall pick in your fantasy plumbing pool. That's mrrooter.ca. Our old sales expert, Herb Tarlick, SKS. Sean Smith has entered the building. He's got a bunch of notes scribbled on a napkin. I imagine these are his. Well, look, they are. They have his Masters picks here. Look at this, Duke. Look at this is what he like. Find a piece of paper. Like, is this what you do in sales? Okay. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440. It's a Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in 3s. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say,
I'm good to go. It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
You started wearing it to guys' night.
Nice toque, you hoser.
Then you started wearing it to work.
Nice toque, you hipster.
But the truth is, you're not a hoser or a hipster. You're just trying to hide your hair loss. I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, and for over 2 decades, I've used the latest techniques to help thousands save their hair, including my own. Come see me today to explore your options. By the time it warms up enough to take off the toque, you could have a head of hair you won't want to hide. Go to drvanceelliott.com today.
Is your business ready to grow? Not sure how? We have your solution. We are Stingray. Whether your customers are around the corner or across the country, Stingray connects you with radio to digital advertising, including connected TV, search and social, programmatic, digital advertising, and digital out of home. From idea to execution, we've got you covered. With creative and production, cross-platform integration, detailed reporting, and one-on-one support, it's the easy way to make your business grow. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Your game, your station. Sports 1440.
And watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8:47 in Edmonton. I got just a text here from Montana to Rice. Hey, Karius, just tuning in for the morning. And I saw this last night, Duke, and I started laughing. And I started thinking about what we've talked about twice on this show, and we did it again the other day. So I was pretty surprised to see you in Tampa Bay last night, and then Mr. Captain Commando try and catch that foul ball in Tampa Bay. So he goes, that's what can happen when freaks like yourself walk around with no gaunch. Now, if you haven't seen this video, and when did you see it, you guys, last night? When did you?
It just came across my Twitter feed. I don't even know. Like probably when I was in here waiting for my battery pack to charge to go try and help these senior citizens in the parking lot.
I don't know where it popped up for me. But I was watching the Oiler game.
Yeah, if it gets across Kevin Karius's feed, you know that it's big time because he doesn't see some of the more low stream stuff. He's only mainstream.
So anyway, if you have a chance, I'd go look for it in Tampa Bay. And the field, it's just a pop foul down the right field line, and this guy, he goes to get it, and his pants fall straight down, and I don't know, maybe he had Gotch on too. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's when I watch it, I question were the pants already down because he spins out of the chair and then it's just bare ass, just staring at the camera. And the broadcasters,
I didn't hear that. I just watched.
It's just like, oh wow, full moon or something like that. Oh, it was good. Yeah, very, very, very funny moment. And yeah, good night for baseball as between that and then the brawl in the Angels game. Tough to pick which made more waves online last night. Some fan getting the full moon out or some haymakers getting thrown on the diamond.
Jorge Soler and Ronaldo Lopez.
And the funniest thing about that to me, Kevin, was that it wasn't instant. Like there was the high pitch, the wild pitch, and then a throw down to second base. And the broadcast is still showing the replay of the tag attempt. And all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, Soler's charging them out.
And again, the worst thing. So you got Ronaldo Lopez throwing a wussy punch, but with his right hand. Never watched Bull Durham, apparently, right?
Yeah, never. Pitchers don't do that.
Don't punch me in the face with your right hand. Use your left. But getting back to that, that is unbelievable video. That guy's got to make every feed because it's, and talk shows. Like that's got to run rampant today, no? Like people are going to be talking.
Well, they were talking about it on Two Pros and a Cup of Joe before we got on. Like they were talking
man.
about that in the second to last. It wasn't even in their leftover segment. It was a full regular segment talking point for them.
Oh, that was a good one.
And the debate between LeVar and Brady Quinn and Jonas Knox, I'm kind of here for it too. It's like, are we sure that was a man? I think it might have been a woman. I'll admit it's kind of hard to tell.
Well,
but it's a very large person regardless.
Feel bad for the person.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Coming up at the top of the hour, David Schlemko will slide in after a little week holiday down south. We've got Greg Wyshynski from the NHL on ESPN. We'll go in or out with Schlemmer, plus Max Miller from the Hockey News covers the San Jose Sharks. We've also got another rendition of Cam and Eggs. Cam Tate joining the morning show, about a week ago, a little bit more than that. And he's come up with some stellar points and some stellar conversation and some great audio, which he writes, and then it gets put down to audio. But here is another edition of Cam and Eggs.
Hear that? We've got Grandma Anderson cooking eggs today. Let's see if we can get a few words from Grandma. She just threw her apron over her head. Okay, we'll try again. Good morning. It's that time of year. So let's cut the preamble and get right to it, shall we? Nice to see former Oil King bench boss Steve Hamilton having continued success with the Everett Silvertip. They swept the Portland Winterhawks in round 1. Now face the Kelowna Rockets, who also swept the Kamloops Blazers. Got many stories about Steve. My favorite? About 12 years now, I guess, I traveled with the Edmonton Oil Kings on their bus to Red Deer. Now, because of the cerebral palsy, I don't walk well. Steve helped me with another friend, Bob Metcalf, to walk into the bus and then to my seat. Once I was comfortable, Hammy said, "Tate, we're going to have to start charging you by the pound." Grandma Anderson keeps those eggs coming. Hey, Grandma, if you were a few decades younger, maybe you and I, we could have a little something. Why are you running away? Who will cook the eggs? Quickly now, who do you think said this?
We have to have a certain amount of self-respect. So this year hasn't gone the way we wanted it to, but we don't get to quit. We don't get to give less than our best. And in that way, then you can kind of always look forward to a better day. As long as you're honest about your day today, even if we're not 15 points out, doesn't change where the day. You're honest about your day, and then you can go on to the next. And that way we can all kind of move around each other with respect. Well, it certainly keeps you humble. When you start feeling too good about yourself after a couple of big seasons, it brings you right back to where you started. I spent a lot of years coaching a team like that.
Florida Panther head coach Guy Paul Maurice on how he frames not making the playoffs this year after making it to the Stanley Cup Finals in 3 consecutive seasons, winning 2 championships. Grandma's back cooking eggs, but this go round she's wearing earbuds. And as we leave you today, let's introduce a new mini segment called Curious Cam. Will the Edmonton Oilers find a ballroom dancing school in San Jose since they have trouble keeping a lead? Will Tiger Woods run into a tree in the next few days at Augusta? And more importantly, will Grandma Anderson reconsider my offer? Cam and Eggs, Sports, 1440.
What do you think of that one there, Duke? Grandma Anderson.
I don't know who Grandma Anderson is, but
cracks a lot of eggs.
Cracks a lot of eggs. Tater's interested.
I don't know what to say about that one.
You're a little taken aback.
Well,
did you have eyes for Graham Anderson, and now you're worried Tater's taking your?
Yeah, he's cutting my grass.
Yeah, I guess.
What do you
so.
say if I was a little bit younger, or she was
No,
a little bit younger?
Graham Anderson was a little
few
bit
years younger. Yeah, you never know. Grandma Anderson. I just love the egg. Every time
the little egg sound effect in there. They're cracking. Somebody texted in last week and said they're cooking the eggs, and I'm like, what are you listening to? It's very obviously cracking eggs.
Mm-hmm. Coming up at the top of the hour, the king, the gun, the fire, David Schlemko will slide in. And then we'll have Greg Wyshynski to talk a little around the league, NHL from ESPN. And we'll get to some of your texts as well, 833-401-1440. Before that time now, for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of RE/MAX Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you were thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
For the first time in the history of the Mammoth, they beat the Oilers 6-5 last night in overtime. Clayton Keller netted the winner in the extra frame on the power play. And just coming out this morning, list of nominees from each respective team for this year's Bill Masterton Trophy, presented to the player best exemplifying the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey for the Oilers goaltender Connor Ingram, put forth as nominees. Some other notable names: Senators goaltender Linus Ullmark, Avalanche forward Gabe Landeskog, and Sabres captain Rasmus Dahlin. In the PWHL last night, Boston beat Vancouver 5-1 in Rogers Place, and the Montreal Victoire topped Seattle 4-1. In the BCHL playoffs, Spruce Grove Saints, they fall to Brooks 7-2. They trail that series now 3-0. The Sherwood Park Crusaders take a 2-1 series lead over Blackfalds with a 5-3 victory. In the association full slate, the Raptors in the win column with a 121-95 victory over the Miami Heat. Scotty Barnes leading the way with 25 points. In LA, the Thunder win over the Lakers 123-87. SGA with 25 points in the victory. And Golden State Warriors, they top Sacramento 110-105. In the majors, another loss for the Blue Jays, 6th in a row. They fall to the Dodgers 4-1 from Rogers Center. Elsewhere, the Yankees beat the Athletics 5-3. Red Sox get past Milwaukee 3-2. And in what was a contested affair from SoCal, the Braves topped the Angels 7-2. And out of the Pittsburgh Pirates organization reports this morning that rookie shortstop Connor Griffin in agreement on a 9-year extension just a week into his MLB career. The 19-year-old new deal worth $140 million. Coming up in hour 3, the Kevin Karius Show will be joined by Greg Wyshynski from the NHL on ESPN and our Wednesday co-host, former NHL defenseman David Schlemko. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
As we all try to figure out when winter will actually stop and spring will finally be here for the season, GS Construction moves ahead with their plans for the year. From planning and digging to laying out underground infrastructure, construction season is limited, so we make every day count. And that's why GS Construction counts on our team to get the job done right. Crews are getting back in action across the city, and we'd like you to join us. We're looking for experienced top men, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value for a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
and Karius Show, breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams, even though his favorite Junior A hockey team is the Yorkton Terriers. Thanks for checking in with Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 901 in Edmonton. The third hour of the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440 AM radio with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick. So glad you're with us, even though the conditions outside are frightful. Man, oh man, you start watching the stuff at Augusta on TV and it makes you want to just bawl the way we have been treated with weather here. But you know what? We'll talk a little golf and hockey here with our Wednesday co-host, David Schlemko, powered by Cougar Paint and Collision. Cougar Paint and Collision, our family helping your family for over 40 years. Part of the Napa Certified Auto Body Program. That's cougarcollision.com as we welcome in Schlemmer to the big program. Good morning, Schlemmer. Fresh off a little vacay in Palm Springs, and you come back to this crap.
This crap is right. Hey, KK. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just depressing, man. I don't know how else to put it. Like, had beautiful weather in Palm Springs all week. You know, get some golf in, nice little tan, and you're hoping like
come back.
It's gonna kind of look like spring when we get back, right? Like we're well on our way, and this is just like unbelievable. Looks like January out there.
So I don't know what it was like in St. Albert area, but as I said last night, right before puck drop, like there was a squall that came through Laurier Heights, and I mean, like you couldn't see the garage, you couldn't see the back fence, and I was like, "What the hell are we doing here?"
Yeah, we got that too.
Did you get it too? Like, I mean, so then it's like 2, 3, 4 inches of snow or whatever it was, and
yeah, I thought, I'm still done shoveling. The snow had melted from the morning, and then you got another big dump that's still on the driveway.
Oh, it's just unbelievable. Anyway, well, we're talking. We had Keith Stewart on. And Schlemmer comes in and says, "Hey, next when Keith's on, I want to come. I want to be on with Keith because obviously Schlemmer loves golf so much." How many rounds you get in Palm Springs?
I got 3 in 5 days. Yeah.
And what, 68, 69?
Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same as the sim with the 6 foot, gimme circle and the perfect lie every time. No, I was 77, 78, 77.
Oh, that's unreal. Who are you playing with?
Just randoms.
Just randoms.
You're down with the family. They're tanning and chopping. So I got just paired up with some guys. Actually, I got to play a private course down there.
Oh, cool.
Buddy I work with at the academy, his parents have a place on Toscana. So that was definitely the highlight of my trip.
Good conditions and all.
Oh, yeah. Just like top notch club. Kind of reminded me of like the ones in Arizona where all the rich teammates would take you.
Oh, man. Let's talk a little Oilers, and I want to get to one play in particular because we had 3 or 4 texts on this, and a lot of people are swinging the other way than I thought it was anyway. But even Daniel in Blackfall says, "Morning, guys. Simple question: as I missed the last bit of the game last night, considering the time of the penalty, was it a legitimate call on Savoy. Just wondering. Thanks. And Duke replied to a few texters. We had some other ones come in, like Team Dean has texted in talking about it. To me, it's a penalty. Some people think maybe there should be some embellishment on it as well.
I'm kind of on the side of the listeners on this one. I was kind of thinking the same thing, and I watched it again this morning too. It looks to me like he just loses an edge when he makes that move.
He's got his stick in there, though, Schlemmer.
That's the problem, right? Is he's got his stick parallel. It's there. I don't think that's what causes him to fall. And he's not called for a hook. He's called for a trip. Do I think he trips him? No, but I do think he's got his stick in the wrong place when he falls.
So when I look at it, and then I see the right hand of Cooley go up, it's sort of like the Olay to help it along with the call. But the stick isn't like he's on his way down before the stick gets near his skates.
Yeah.
But there is a little tug there on the arm.
I think if anything, you got to call the hook because that's where the stick is.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it looks like causes him to fall.
But you know what it is? It's an aggression after losing possession.
Right. It's just you can't put your stick there, right? You're 200 feet from your net overtime.
Probably, it's probably Team Dean's coming at me now. If KK read the whole text, I don't know. Sorry, buddy. Team Dean, we get about 1,000 texts here, and it's tough to keep her going all the way here. But that's not the reason they lost the game.
No, I mean, you score 5 goals, you should win a hockey game.
I mean, they were all the things that they tried to correct and had corrected, and it looked like they corrected as far as different areas of the game on the ice and certain positions and, slot and breakout and everything that you say that we need to fix this before we go into the playoffs. It looked like there was starting to.
Yeah, I think you put it perfectly there.
So,
right.
So just a one-off or like how the game was going?
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, they'd won 5 in a row. They're doing all the little things right, all those details you just described. I missed the 5-1 game
the Vegas
to
game?
Vegas, so I'm not sure how they played in that one. But
you didn't like. It's not like it wasn't a 5-1 game.
Okay,
if I were to say that.
Yeah,
it was closer than.
Okay, it didn't look like that. I saw the shot clock and stuff, but It just looked like a sloppy game, like the kind of the way they were playing, a month ago. Just easily fixable mistakes that end up in the back of your net.
Yeah. We discussed so many things already this morning, and yes, we're going to be a little bit redundant, but that's the way it goes when you got a 4-hour show. The first one, and I mean, we probably haven't given it enough of credit, is the Connor McDavid goal.
Oh my God!
I mean. So I want to just maybe as a perspective on your angle, what you would be seeing when a guy's coming at you a million miles an hour. You could be Sergachev, you could be Cole, whatever.
I think when you're that D man, when you're Cole, he actually plays it well until he fishes for the puck, right? Like he takes the inside position, he kind of beats McDavid to the post. But then he actually does a pretty good job of like taking away the passing lane, getting low and big. But he lunges out with the stick at the last second. As soon as McDavid beats that stick, and then he's got an easy path to the net and Tucker back door.
Like the thing is, because McDavid's coming so fast,
right?
So as you said, is it that lunge and can Connor? Can he see that and go, okay, I got this?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because he's going so fast and he's got like a millisecond to make third or fourth decision that he's coming in at.
I think if Cole just leaves his stick where it is, he can't get beat low. Maybe McDavid's got to cut middle and run into a little bit more traffic or thread a pass through some sticks.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you say, he's going so fast. It's so hard. Like it's a split-second decision.
And like Savoy's right there too.
Right.
Like, I mean, to be honest with you, in real time, I thought Savoy might have touched the puck just because of where he was.
Because he's driving there, back door. Yeah.
And then, and then everyone's going like, you see it in the replay and you go, it's even more impressive.
It's just not fair when he's out there full speed, man. I've got plenty of memories of thinking you're doing everything right and somehow he still gets by you.
Oh, man, that's unbelievable. David Schlemko with us here in the Sports 1440 studios. So the other goal that we've been actually talking a fair bit about was the shorthanded goal.
I was going to say that's the one I want to talk about.
Okay. So you know what? We blasted it right off the bat. I'm not even going to, I'll just give you the floor here. and tell me what you saw as the Oilers entered the zone.
As the Oilers entered the zone?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did is I went back quite a ways.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going back to like the Roslovic turnover?
Yeah.
Okay. So like for me at first, I was like terrible play. Like that's a hope play. Just a bad turnover on entry, right? But like you look at it on the slowed down replay, and Savvy's actually wide open in the slot. The pass just hits a skate.
It hits a skate?
Yeah.
Okay.
It hits a Utah skate. So still, I mean, if you're gonna make that play, you got to make it right on entry. But for me, it's on Bouchard, man. Okay, because who you got? I can understand that maybe you think it's going to be a 2-on-1, but you got Connor McDavid, fastest guy in the world, back checking that guy. There's no way he's not going to catch him. So for me, this is where like the Norris discussion just ends. This is over. If that's Makar or Hughes, they're Werenski, like they're using their legs, 2-3 hard strides, maybe 4, and they're almost stick on puck before Schmaltz even enters the zone.
Okay.
Like if you watch the replay, like Bush is just kind of dragging his ass back. He's checking his shoulder. And then right before he shoots, he kind of takes 1-2 hard strides and he still almost gets stick on puck. So to me, he's just got to close quick and that's a nothing play.
So how I said, I think this is on Roslovic to start. So, I mean, because everyone's expecting him to not make that pass and set up. And that's where it all goes downhill from there. Then to me, it's on Jari. And then it's on Bush. And I get you. And that's how I look at it. Bush has to come back way harder and just get a stick on something or whatever.
Close quick. Even if you make him even if you go too far and make him pull up and throw it into the middle for that Blake guy, Connor's going to catch him.
Connor side by side with him.
Yeah.
It wasn't a 2-on-1.
Well, there you go. Exactly. So close.
Yeah. That's how when I explained it, I said, to me, it's on Roslovic because everyone's expecting him to set up and either, button hook in the corner or just eat it in the corner, wait for some help, bring it around the boards, however, to start the play because everyone else, no one's expecting that pass. Like Savoy's not expecting it. Connor's not expecting it.
I think Savoy might have been the only one expecting it because he was wide open in the slot. If he makes that play, it's a great A.
Yeah, I see it less though. I see too much traffic in there. That's how I see it.
Let's watch it again at the break.
Sure. Watch it again at the break. Yeah. We've had it up a few times. So.
Okay.
But again, it's the blame goes around.
Yeah.
The blame goes around. So how about the fact you had the 3-1 lead and Utah's fast. They're quick. They're going to get on pucks. You know that.
Yeah.
So were the others as a team, do you go, hey, we got to tighten this up, you guys. This isn't the game we want to play.
Right.
So what's the message on the bench and everything when you're trying to, again, you had 3 leads, 3-1, 5 or 4-3, 5-4. So like, what's the message? What's been talked about here?
Well, I think the message has probably been recycled now for the past 2 months. It's just go out and do it consistently like they had been. But I mean, you nailed it on the head there, right? It's blowing leads. I had a little stat here that I noticed. So once the Oilers went up 5-4, I think the shots were 25-21 Oilers. So the shots are 9-2 Utah in the last 12 minutes when they come back.
They never had, in the third period, after they scored that goal, the Oilers never had sustained pressure for more than 15, 20 seconds in the Utah zone for the entire period.
So, I mean, you look at that entire game collectively, and I mean, if it's like November, December, you're just like, great, entertaining game, putting the puck in the net, lots of contributions, but 4 or 5 games before you head into playoffs, that's a little bit scary.
Tristan Jarry. So he made some saves last night. I mean, Gunther, the one-timer in the third period.
Yeah.
Krause had an opportunity. He just got a skate on. I don't know if it would have went in. Utah had more pressure. I think Stenlund hit the crossbar. This was all before the 5-5 goal that tied it. But I don't know. What are you seeing like with the team in front of him? The confidence level here.
I just don't think he instills confidence in anyone. Definitely not me. I mean, if I'm a D-man, I want to be blocking every shot because you don't know what's going to go in.
Yeah.
It might hit him. It might not. I don't know. I'm not a goalie, so I don't like to pretend like I can evaluate goalies real well. But to me, he just has no like battle level.
So I asked this off the top, and I mentioned it off the top. Is this the last time he's played this year for the Oilers?
I think there's a good chance.
So just because, okay, we got 4 games left on the schedule. Ingram's playing tonight. He's playing Saturday in LA because that game could mean everything.
And how's Cal Pickard looked?
Well, I think that we're talking more down the road in the playoffs here. So
Yeah,
so the question is, who's going to back up Jari in the playoffs?
Ingram.
Ingram, pardon
Yeah.
me. Who's going to back up Ingram in the playoffs? That's the question.
Yeah, and with a team that's had to lean on their backup goalie the last couple playoff runs, I think that's an important decision.
This is a big decision. Like, I mean,
Right? Connor Ingram's not a.
Well, you're putting everything into your basket here, all your eggs into a guy
Was in the minors this year.
that was, well, you picked up technically for nothing because it was future considerations. That's who you're hitching your wagon to here for any playoff success. Either that, or to me, or Cal Pickard has to go on the role that he did when he was called upon in the playoffs last year.
It's still confusing to me why he never got the chance once they got like the Jari and Ingram situation going.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like, did either of them steal the job? Like Ingram's been better. Has he been like excellent? I don't think so.
Well, some people were saying, like, even because there were, when before the trade was made, there could have been an Ingram Pickard scenario as well.
Right.
Before the trade was made. So
Okay.
just the right now, again, if Ingram's not in the net, I don't know how much confidence the team has.
Oh, exactly.
with
And
whoever's
you're just thinking about how much the team loves Cal Pickard. Like maybe that gives them a little boost
It
out
does.
there, right?
So, like, the question is, like, who is going to be backing up, when the bullets are flying?
Yeah.
Because again, because if someone were to get hurt, say Ingram gets hurt, who do you want going in next?
Right.
That's the question. So, coming up after the break, we got Greg Wyshynski from the NHL on ESPN. That will be a lot of talk out east and things like that. The Toronto Maple Leafs made some news, and the Eastern playoff race, because we haven't really taken a deeper dive into that, but we'll get into that as well with Greg Wyshynski when we come back. It's a Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick, and our co-host on Wednesdays, David Schlemko, on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill, still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell, and we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me, GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Do you sit around at work listening to sports radio all day? That's right, my friend. There's no shame in it. It's the good life. And we're not here to snitch. Say, if your company advertised on Sports 1440, you could be the one listening for your company's ad every day. Now you've got an excuse to listen to Sports 1440 all day. It's part of the job. Sounds like someone's getting a promotion. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca. And let's get to work for you.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking,
neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep, and yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
This summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call-solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:21 in Edmonton. And time now for the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. And in Fountain Tire, we meet all your car needs and more with our digital vehicle report. We just don't tell you what your car needs. We show you. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com today as we welcome back Greg Wyshynski, the NHL on ESPN. Good morning, Wish. You're with Kevin Karius and the former NHLer, David Schlemko. As always, thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it, big guy.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. You know, it's funny. I was actually on vacation last week with my daughter at Disney World. And I think I picked the right week because I think it was maybe the biggest news week in recent NHL history. I was, getting on rides and looking at my phone. I'm like, oh, Brad Living got fired. Well, I don't have to write about that, luckily. So I was, I felt blessed.
Yeah, they were coming. Yeah, they were coming fast and furious for you. Was there one of those moves while you were on vacation, Greg, that you thought, how can this possibly be happening? What's going on here?
Well, the only one that I felt a little FOMO and not being able to write about or talk about was Tortorella. That was just, not crazy in the sense that they made a move on Bruce Cassidy, because obviously anyone who's watched the Knights this year can kind of see that they didn't have the same fire in them that they had in previous seasons. So it wasn't a shock that they moved on from Cassidy, but just bringing in Torts. And I obviously, like, the perfect guy to bring in if you're trying to, relocate the fire in your belly is bringing Torts in. But doing it in a way where he is literally just like playing out the string. I mean, he might be the most famous interim coach I can remember. It's a great fit. And so far the early returns kind of show it. They're undefeated under him. If you look inside their analytics, their expected goals against under Torts have been spectacular. And you're going to need to really shore up that defense and be on your details if you're going to end up playing a Utah or an Anaheim or an Edmonton in the first round.
Yeah.
Well, we might as well talk about the latest one then too. What do you make about Pete DeBoer going to the Island?
Well, it's funny. I was at the Islanders press availabilities that day when they introduced DeBoer, and I asked Matt Barzell what he thought about all this, and he's like, I laughed when the Knights hired Torts with 8 games left, and now we're doing this with 4 games left. Like, it's got even crazier. I think the sense I get from the Islanders is they know that the odds are against them to make the playoffs. They've kind of dug their own hole right now. It doesn't mean it can't happen, but I think the thought from the players is that this is a long-term move. He's going to get a good sense of what's on the roster now. He's going to be able to come back and be ready next preseason in a way that other coaches might not be if they were a summer hire. And look, he's Pete DeBoer. I mean, all the guy does is get teams to the playoffs, and in most cases get teams to the conference finals, and occasionally have them play for the Stanley Cup. And when you look at this roster and the core he takes over, not only Matthew Schaefer, but also Sorokin and, Bo Horvat, they've got some players there. And so, well, I think Pete wanted to be there because he missed being on the East Coast, and I think he was tired of Western Conference travel. At least that's what he told us. I think he also understands that the deck is decently stacked. At the very least, you have a generational talent in Schaefer to build around.
Yeah, he's got some pieces there for sure, and it's going to be exciting to see what happens. I agree with you. They're just maybe a point back where they need to be, with Columbus getting that 2 last night and Detroit coughing one up at the end. They're just a little bit behind the 8 ball. So let's talk about the playoff races. And here's a question for you, Greg. If you had to throw all your dough on your house, your bet and everything, who's winning the Atlantic Division right now?
You mean in the playoff?
Just winning, getting first place. Who's winning the Atlantic Division for the number 1 seed, with all 3 teams, Tampa, Buffalo, Montreal, at 102 points?
Well, I'll go with Tampa. I don't think they have to play Buffalo again, which is probably why I have confidence in them. And if they had to play the Sabres 10 times, they'd probably lose all 10 times based on how those games have gone recently. But, it's a fascinating division. I'm not as high on the Habs as some people are. I understand why people are high on them. I think that there's, acknowledgement that this is a deeper team than the one that made the playoffs last year. I would agree with that, although I think that the depth is maybe one more defenseman and a second line that at least is relevant, although not nearly as good as their top line. But I think if I'm Buffalo, I think I'd rather be in that 2-3 series than play whoever's going to finish in that 8 hole in the East, to be honest with you. Like, I think Ottawa is a really, really difficult team to play in the playoffs if they end up being the second wild card team. And if you don't get them, you get Boston, who I think provides their own difficulties if you're the Sabres. So I think Tampa probably finishes first, and I think that's probably the best case scenario for Buffalo in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with you that nobody's going to want to play Ottawa the way they're playing right now in that first round. Is that the team you see getting in?
Oh, nothing.
I think.
Go ahead, Greg.
I think so. I think so. Like Columbus is hanging around, but again, Ottawa's got a +24 goal differential right now. And that's pretty remarkable when you think about some of the goaltending issues that they had earlier this season. So, I talked to an Eastern Conference executive a couple weeks ago, just getting a lay of the land. What do you think? And he said to me, he's like, look, Ottawa's the team you don't want to play. Like, if you look at their underlying numbers, they are a very good hockey team this season. And the record might not show it, and they may or may not get into that wild card spot. But if they do, best to avoid them is kind of the sense that I got.
Do you think Detroit's done?
Nah, man, probably. It's so frustrating because, hey, listen, not for nothing, but I work for a rights holder, and I think we were all very excited about the idea of getting Detroit back in these playoffs. But it's funny. Yzerman got credit for doing something at the deadline because Dylan Larkin, took him to task last year for not doing anything at the deadline. But he clearly didn't do enough. I think this team needed a bit more to get over the hump. They needed a bigger swing than the ones he took. Justin Falk and David Perron, 2 names we know, but not necessarily needle movers at this point in their careers. And maybe this is, you reap what you sow. Not getting better significantly at the deadline, I think is one of the reasons why they are trailing the field right now, and also looking over their shoulder at a team like the Islanders.
So, assuming Detroit doesn't get in this year, what is the plan moving forward for Stevie Y? What does he need to add?
It's a great question because I've been wrestling with this. Of all the teams in the NHL, I might have the least understanding of the dynamics behind the scenes of the Detroit Red Wings. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if it's a situation where they just serve at the pleasure of Steve Yzerman until he decides he wants to move up and be president of hockey ops and someone else comes in as GM. I don't know if they've got the cojones to fire a franchise icon or part ways with him. Like, I just don't know where that is, but it's gotten to the point where you've got to start having those serious discussions behind the scenes because the plan hasn't worked. Now, if the plan is ultimately we'll sign Quinn Hughes next summer and then Jack comes in 2030 because they all want to play in Michigan, well, that's great too.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You can't always, you can't always count on that. But there is, that it's not out of the realm of possibility. That's how things shake out for the Hughes boys. But you probably don't want to, put all your eggs in that basket. And also, you'd probably want to have a better hockey team if and when they arrive than the one they have now.
Yeah. Greg Wyshynski, NHL on ESPN with us on the Kevin Karius Show with David Schlemko on Sports 1440. So out west here, I asked you the same thing about the Atlantic. Who's going to win that division? Who you think is going to win the division? In the Pacific, who do you think is going to win that division? Greg, is it the Oilers? Is it the Knights or the Ducks?
I think it's the Oilers. Obviously the Knights right now are really digging their heels in and playing really well under Torts. But the Oilers still control their own fate. They have the tiebreaker with the Knights. Again, I don't think there's necessarily a matchup that if you're the Oilers, you're not confident you can't win the first round in any of these scenarios. Like the Knights would be difficult. But I think the way that the Ducks are trending, it's probably either Vegas or the Oilers finishing in first place. So I'll take the Oil. I think frustrating one last night, obviously in Utah. Defensively and with the considerations about the goaltending being what they are. But again, they've got the tiebreaker, and I can't imagine that the Knights will win out under Torts. But who knows?
Right. Well, let's move over to the Central. We have our one first round playoff matchup confirmed. I'd love to hear your prediction on Dallas and Mini. Two teams both going for it. Only one's going to get through.
Listen to this guy. We get a matchup set, and you think I already have a prediction in the books, man?
Come on, man. This is what you do.
All the writers are really happy because they could start working on that preview. The earliest maybe we've ever been able to work on a preview for a series. I've long thought that Dallas would win that series. Don't put that in concrete for me quite yet. But I just don't understand what Minnesota's done in the sense that they've got dynamic scoring on the wings. They've got Quinn Hughes on the back end. They've got two really good goaltenders, and they're a donut. What do they have in the middle? Now, I'm not saying that Dallas is Edmonton or Colorado insofar as their center depth, but they've certainly got some of it. And I just don't understand Minnesota, building this team with their eyes on the Stanley Cup and they traded away one of their best centers to get Quinn Hughes and Marco Rossi, and they never really addressed it. So because of that, and also because of Dallas's playoff experience, I think Dallas is probably the team that wins that series.
Man, that would be something for Billy G, though.
I would.
Hey, what do you think of that? It would be a hell of a run if he could get something going here in the playoffs, right, Greg?
Well, you need to pair with his Olympic gold medal that he lost.
Well, I was waiting for you to bring that up. Come on.
No, listen, I think he's done a great job. And, I think there's probably more work to be done with that roster. But it's clear that they're pushing all their chips in to maximize their window as long as Quinn Hughes is there to win. I'm just a little surprised that they didn't do more to address the center position before the trade deadline.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to talk about the Olympics. It's like the old joke from years and years ago about, how many Calgarians does it take to screw in a light bulb? And it's 8, 1 to do it and 7 to talk about the Olympics in 88 in Calgary.
Hey, well, I'm hoarse from having talked about it since they won, but hey, listen, since they won, things have taken a turn. I was the guy who wrote about Jack Hughes being upset that his puck was in the Hockey Hall of Fame, and that took on a life of its own. So, it's an interesting place for an American because without question, it's one of the greatest moments in our history when it comes to hockey, and it'll be one that we talk about forever. And those guys will be able to get, paid appearance fees and car dealerships for the rest of their lives, come see the gold medal. But the aftermath of it was a little bit, rough landing, you know what I mean? So it's it has been an interesting ride for American hockey fans and American hockey media in dealing with the fallout from everything that happened after, also celebrating the achievement that it was.
Yeah.
I got one last one for you, Greg. Carolina Hurricanes. Interesting team. They've kind of quietly just had a really good year again. Is this the year that they can finally make it through that hump of the conference finals?
I think that top to bottom, this is probably the best offensive team that they've had. They're fourth in the league in goals per game, which maybe people don't realize or recognize. And quite frankly, statistically, they could be as high as second. I mean, they're only like a fraction behind the Penguins. They're still doing their thing defensively with Rod. Again, the two questions you always have about the Hurricanes are, can they score enough? And by that, I mean, like in a tight 1-goal game in the conference final, can they put a team away? Can they tie a game? It's always been their Achilles heel. And that's why Eric Tulsky's gone out and tried and acquired a Jake Gensel and tried to do the Mikko Rantanen thing. I just think without even having a star player necessarily, their depth is great offensively. And the other question is the goaltending. And I thought Peter Kochetkov came back to practice recently. I mean, obviously Bussey's been incredible for them for most of the season, but I still think that's a pretty big question mark. But honestly, you don't have to be perfect to win the East this year. With Florida off the boards, with teams like the Devils and the Rangers not there, the Lightning are still scary, and obviously you've got this Buffalo wagon. But if you're the Hurricanes, I don't think you necessarily need to be at your peak insofar as like talent and execution to win the East this year. I don't think there's anybody that's got juggernaut status in that conference.
And I got one last one for you, Greg. Is Greg Wyshynski from the NHL on ESPN is with us on Sports 1440. The Toronto Maple Leafs, why can't they get out of their own way here? More news with a search firm hiring. There's conflict of interest. There's no question about this. But, I mean, what do you make of this franchise here at this point?
Let's just pause on the search firm thing. Like, it makes me mental when things like this take on a life of their own. This is how recruiting works. It's how recruiting works in the business world. It's how recruiting works in college sports. It's no different than an agent at CAA putting their star in a movie and then having one of their clients who's a director be the director on the movie. Like, this stuff just happens, and it's not a scandal. It's just how it works when you hire a recruiting firm. I found it to be really funny that there was such naivete about that yesterday. But as far as the Leafs go, I mean, it's just the pressure of Toronto. It's the pressure of the corporate interest. It's the pressure of trying to win there. I think whoever comes in is going to be dealing with a team in transition more than I think anyone's willing to admit. And I've heard that there's been some pushback from ownership insofar as like how much, not rebuilding, but retooling they have a stomach for in Toronto. And I think it's a lot. I mean, I think to really be a contender, they have to flip a lot of that roster because it's built for a team that doesn't exist anymore. Like, when they went and got Brandon Carlo, it's because they still had Marner and they still had designs on winning a cup. So it's going to be fascinating to see who they hire. I know they want to find someone data-driven for the GM spot, but it's going to have to be someone who is willing to stand up to ownership and fight for what they believe in insofar as what this roster needs, but also handle the treacherous waters of Toronto hockey, be it the media, be it the players, be it the expectations. It's not an easy job. I'll tell you that.
So I need you to explain that to me, Greg, from your perspective again. So if it's a Neil Glasberg that runs the search firm and he has clients, that, that he represents, and these clients were to get a job with the Maple Leafs, how is that not a conflict of interest?
But why is it a conflict of interest if you are representing people that you think are the best people for these jobs? Like, I understand what you're saying, but like, how? And when we talk about conflict of interest, I mean, what is Neil Glasberg doing? Holding a shotgun to Pelly's head and making him sign these guys? He's simply bringing in the candidates for them to look at, and they can decide whether or not they want to hire them.
But the bigger question here, Greg, is this is the biggest company MLSE going. I mean, Rogers owns 75%, Larry Tannenbaum 25%. Why do they even have to take this route?
Because companies do it all the time, like especially for major corporate positions and C-suite positions. They do it all the time. They hire recruiting firms to make sure that they've got the right people in place, to understand the vetting, to to go through the process of being sold on candidates. I don't know. The whole thing yesterday felt like a couple people who have a grudge against Neil Glassberg decided to have a go at him. Because otherwise, this is just how things work over and over again in the recruiting field. You could make the case that the Leafs are so corporate they don't need one, but I come back to the idea, like, is Pelly, so ineffectual that he's just going to accept the candidates that the firm delivers and not consider his own options? It's a really weird take to believe that this is some sort of like nefarious thing when A, it's common practice in every other facet of business, and B, no one's forcing the Leafs to ultimately hire the guy that the firm puts forth.
Greg, good stuff. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the stretch run, and I'm sure we'll talk to you as the playoffs get underway. I appreciate you always coming on.
Anytime, boys.
Greg Wyshynski, the NHL on ESPN and the Puck Report.
I'm not sure I agree on that take.
Well, we're going to discuss it here in a second. We get texts already saying that some people agree. That's how headhunters work, Delta Valley Jeff. I don't think we're comparing that.
I think it's a tough comparison to compare to the rest of the corporate world.
I really do as well.
Hockey is an old boys club, man. And I mean, like, he can bring in, what if there are two candidates that were like exactly the same? And like, which one is he going to bring to Pelly? The one that he represents.
Yes.
Right?
So,
like, that is what a conflict of interest is.
I know we discussed this yesterday with Frank at length.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I was quite surprised across the media world, especially in Toronto, that there wasn't as much discussion about it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this one.
Yeah. I don't know, Duke. I mean, like, you were kind of busy yesterday doing a lot of stuff, but I mean, once we had Frank on in the morning, and and he's really standing his ground on his point here and his point. And I'm saying as well, to me, it is a conflict of interest, but I guess the question, and maybe I didn't see a lot, like I was expecting those yo-hos on TSN to really just blast the Leafs for this.
I didn't see much of it as well in terms of, clips from shows out in Toronto or on TSN, whatever the case. But it's really tough because I think I fall more in the camp of yourself and Schlemmer and Frank here, where you say, yeah, I understand Greg's point that you don't have to hire the candidates they present, but you hire a firm with the expectation that they bring forth a collection of candidates. And if the entire collection is only guys that are where the conflict of interest lies, well, then all of a sudden you just wasted all your money hiring these guys and you go outside of their provided list. That's possible, I suppose, but I wouldn't expect to see that happen.
Not very likely.
That's right. And so if that's the case, and my bigger takeaway from this whole debacle is what you've mentioned several times, Kevin. Why do the Toronto Maple Leafs, who have the largest staff of people in the entire NHL, from 8 different assistant GMs and all these people in analytics and on and on and on, why do you need to hire a third-party firm to find your next general manager?
Well, it tells me they're trying to go like way off
the board.
Yeah, exactly. Right. They must really be trying to find some data driven something. I don't know. Because I couldn't agree with you more. Like, why would the Leafs need to do this?
So what was that? There was a post after by Chris Johnston yesterday. The dude in the assistant GM in I can't remember his name. Meda, out of Florida.
Right.
So he's a client.
Okay.
Of Neil Glassberg.
Right.
So now you tell, like, if he gets this job, you're not swaying him towards the Leafs organization? Yeah, you are.
Yeah, 100%.
And we don't know what these conversations look like inside the room between Glassberg and his firm and Pelly. Like, is it him? Is he just saying, here's names that I think are qualified, do your own due diligence on them from here? Or is he presenting a full PowerPoint with 10 slides on why his candidate or his client, his candidates are the best for it, as opposed to here's some other guys. And they're just 4 names on the final slide in Roman font, but there's no transitions or pizzazz to the PowerPoint at that stage, right? Like, it's exaggerative point for effect here. We don't know, but I just go back to the same point. I don't understand why the Maple Leafs need a third party to hire their GM.
Well, and again, if you think about it, the people that have been running Rogers, so I don't know how big of a multi-billion-dollar company this is. So again, Rogers took over the 37.5% stake of Bell. So that made them a 75% ownership share of MLSE. Larry Tannenbaum owns the other 25%. If you go back when it was a different ownership breakdown, Tannenbaum did a lot of this searching himself and hiring.
Oh, okay.
You know, he was more on the front lines, if you want to call it.
So you would think that Rogers is maybe more behind
Well,
this?
sure they are. What I'm saying is then why on earth do they need to go outside when there's got to be so many tall foreheads at Rogers,
right?
You know, that are making millions and millions a year that should be able to figure this out along with Keith Belly, but they just seem to get in their own way. So that's the Puck Report brought to you by Fountain Tire. And again, check them out at fountaintire.com and book your appointment today. When we come back, we're going to go in or out with David Schlemko. And of course, David Schlemko is presented and powered by Cougar Paint and Collision, our family helping your family for over 40 years, part of the Napa Certified Auto Body Program, CougarCollision.com. In or out when we come back on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
At Cougar Paint and Collision, their family-first approach makes you feel like part of the clan.
We care about the shop because it's our name on the sign. And when you own a business, that is so important to remember that everyone you're dealing with is a human being and they're going through something, whether you see it or not. What will make people choose you is how they feel when they leave your shop. People need to feel important. They need to feel heard. I think that sets us apart. It's really, really important.
Cougar Paint and Collision, our family helping your family.
At GS Construction, we're multitaskers. We've got lots of projects going on all around Edmonton and area. Different teams across the city working towards the same outcome. Installing today what will serve generations to come. It's a rewarding career and the work never stops. That's why GS Construction is always on the lookout for great people to join us. Right now, we're looking for experienced topmen, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. So if you want to feel valued, empowered, and engaged in your work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Running a business is tough. Finding new customers shouldn't be. Stop chasing leads. Let them come to you with Stingray, offering you access to more digital, outdoor, and traditional advertising platforms, including radio, connected TV, search and social, programmatic, digital advertising, and digital out of home. So while you're closing the next deal, Stingray is working for you to deliver more leads, more customers, more sales. It's that easy. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com and always be closing.
You're listening to Sports 1440 and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sports 24/7. We are Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 9:50 in Edmonton. We're gonna bust over the top of the hour here, Duke, with a little in or out action right now. But we got Max Miller coming up at 10:20 from the Hockey News, covers the San Jose Sharks. We'll preview the Sharks. Oh no, David Schlemko's old teams. Hey, here's a question for you, Schlemmer. Before we get to in or out, I was talking about the curfew for flights going into San Jose. So the Oilers that they weren't able to fly to San Jose last night.
Yeah, it sucks.
So what is it? 12? Is it midnight or is it 1? What is it?
I can't remember exactly what time it is, but I do remember the curfew is a thing. Yeah, like
So do you
getting rushed out of there after games sometimes,
Okay.
or else you got to fly to like Long Beach and I don't know. That's the Anaheim. You got to fly into somewhere else and bus.
I think they went to Oakland.
Yeah. Okay. Oakland.
So I think they went to Oakland last night and then they bus an hour.
Yeah, that sucks.
What about like if you played a game, say you played in San Jose as you're playing for the Sharks, would you guys ever blast out of there that night?
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. So you had to get the hell out of there.
Get out of there quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
But see, this happens for a lot of teams if it's midnight, I don't know if you're flying from Anaheim or LA. I don't even know. Maybe Vancouver, if you could get there in time.
Maybe. I think usually you're good. You're good if you play there, getting out somewhere. You're good if you play in Anaheim or LA.
But
other
anything
than
else,
that, it's tough.
So that's a crappy back-to-back scheduling,
That
in my
is.
opinion. Especially, I don't know how many times this happens to a team.
That's true. That's a good point. So
know,
coming to Utah, there's no chance to make it.
No, none at all. So time now for Are You In or Out? Brought to you by Pro Solutions. If you need air conditioning service, Pro Solutions offers expert repairs, tune-ups, and installs with flexible financing. Book your appointment now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or you out?
In or out of what?
No time for questions, just action. In or out?
Well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, Duke. Letterbuck.
For the first time in the history of the franchise, Oilers lose to the Utah Mammoth 6-5 in overtime, the final last night, despite missing a couple key players, obviously, in Leon Draisaitl and Zach Hyman. There's cause for concern with these last two losses going back to Saturday against Vegas because of the same underlying issues that have plagued this team almost all year, rearing their head yet again.
I'm in, Duke. I'm in all the way. I don't think they needed 29 and 18 to win last night. You score 5 goals,
Yeah.
you should have the 2 points. So yeah, we've already talked about the issues.
Mhm.
I'm in.
You know, it's funny, even when the score was 3-1 after 20, and you're going, okay, you've got the game in hand. Like you are in control
Right.
of how you want to dictate the play. That didn't happen at the start of the second period.
No.
So that's my big concern. You had the Bouchard giveaway that Ekholm had to come back and make that good stick on Cooley, I think it was.
Yeah.
Then you had another Bouchard gave the puck away to Yamo, but came back and made a nice play on Yamamoto. So just their protection of the puck and how they managed the puck last night was horror awful. So, and that was one of the big reasons that they were struggling before.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to be in.
You
And,
Sorry.
I want to see how they play tonight. Like you got to be able to say, okay. And San Jose is going to run and gun just
For
like
sure.
Utah.
They'll be flying.
Yeah. So this is where you got to play a tight game and not give up much.
Get back to that tight D zone. Work from the house out. That's what was working for them.
Yeah. And we saw that for a stretch of games, included in the 5-game win streak that they put together. And then there's a couple others sprinkled in before that for sure. But it's just like doing it for that long a time, it's not good enough for a team. And I think when you look at like the growth and the improvement of the second pairing of defense since Connor Murphy joined the team and how Darnell Nurse has played on aggregate since his addition, there's encouraging signs there for sure. But unfortunately, they don't play the whole game, and your top pair you expect to be a little bit better than they were last night, especially, and they are most of the time, right? So it's not trying to totally bury Bouchard in particular, who struggled for a large portion of last night's game, but it's just like up and down the lineup where simple missed assignments, and we talked about it on Monday, Kevin, the Saturday game in Vegas. I know you didn't see it, Schlemmer, but like just little details of the game where you just let them go. This is the NHL. Teams are going to capitalize, especially good teams like Vegas, like Utah, and any other club you're expected to meet come playoff time. So it's I'm not ready to believe just yet. Tonight may be a good chance to get things back on a more positive track and in the final few games of the regular season. Not playing last night, he's going to start tonight more likely than not, of course, is Connor Ingram in the net. He was elected as Edmonton's nominee for this year's Masterton Trophy, which of course recognizes your perseverance, dedication, sportsmanship to the game of hockey. And when you look at the list across the league for each team's nominee, which is approaching everybody, I think at this point, I think it's a pretty strong chance that Connor Ingram will finish as a top 3 finalist for the award. Of course, already a one-time recipient of it in his time with Arizona.
I wonder if that ever comes into play.
I was just going to say that too.
I would love to see it. Obviously, it's a hell of a story. I mean, Ullmark's up for it in Ottawa, I believe, too. So, similar stories, I guess, if you want to think about that. I would love to see it. It would be great. So I'm going to go in on it just because you'd like to see it. Is Landeskog is he the number one guy here? I don't know.
I would think Darlene's got to be up there too with his wife and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And, the Sabres kind of turning the corner finally.
That's a good point there too. I see your old D partners up for it in New Jersey, the old Dilly Bar.
Is he really?
Yeah. They must have had nobody left in.
What did he persevere?
He's just that guy just perseveres.
Ozzy Weisblatt in Nashville, I think, of a name that will garner a lot of consideration.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Jonathan Taves is Winnipeg's nominee after being away from the game for a couple years, coming back and stepping right back into the NHL. He's not the Conn Smythe, Selke winning guy anymore, but still a contributing factor for a team that. Kev, they still got a sniff.
They do still got a sniff.
Maybe find their way into the playoff picture.
But after you mentioned all these, I think I'm actually going to be out.
You think listen,
because he's won it before.
It's a big league. There's always a lot of very deserving names and candidates, and a lot of very feel-good stories. And Connor Ingram, between being in the assistance program again, coming out, starting the year in the minors, traded for nothing, and now expected to be the starting goaltender for a top-seeded-ish team. I think it'll be worth a lot of consideration, but I think it's very fair that having won it previously maybe does take away from his standing.
Wanted to mention one other player on the list that you would have worked with, Schlemmer, Matthew Robertson from the Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a guy,
kid.
It's a different story, but it's about playing in the minors for a long time and finally
slugging it out,
busting through, I guess.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
And I think that might be a similar with Dominic Shine in Detroit. There's a guy he made his NHL debut. Or scored his first goal. One of the oldest players, I think, in history to score his first goal this year. Same thing, grinding away in the minors. So, as always, lots of great stories, and I actually do recommend listeners and stuff to actually go and check them out on an individual level to get the full scope of some feel good stuff across the NHL. Jumping into tonight's game, Oilers right back at it in the Bay against the San Jose Sharks. We'll try another go at the game day prediction. I only went 1 for 2 yesterday. The under was a big miss by me. I thought maybe a little tighter checking in last night's contest. But unfortunately, I think the Oilers lose again tonight. Back to back, the tough travel that you guys just talked about maybe playing a role. And if for no other reason, like the Sharks, this is a desperate team that is full head of steam right now. They're 1-1 in their last 2, but before that had rattled off 4 wins in a row as they make a very desperate push to try and grab the final playoff spot.
It's their season tonight for San Jose. they don't win tonight, that's going to be tough because again, Jets are right there, and the Kings Oilers game is obviously massive on Saturday, but yeah, this is their season tonight. So, I think the Oilers are going to win a close one tonight, Duke. I'll go
shootout
3-2 in overtime.
OT.
Another OT game.
3-2 in overtime.
I like that. That's what I was going to say too. I think this one goes to extra time. Hard to bet against 97 and OT, hey?
Except for last night.
Except for last night. Yeah, he doesn't have 29 out there. I'll be in, Duke. I think the Sharks are going to survive tonight.
Yeah, I'll take a 4-3. Actually, 5-4. 5-4 Sharks overtime win.
Talk about the Oilers here.
Kev, let's get back.
What's that?
No, yeah.
I was just texting.
I'm with you on the going to overtime.
Going to overtime.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it being
no
close.
shootout though.
That
would have been something, right?
Yeah.
So 0-0. It's still Utah's record in a shootout, and the Oilers are 0-3. Never gone to a shootout.
Only
yet.
2 teams without a shootout win on the year. Mammoth not playing in one. Jumping over to Augusta National down in Georgia tomorrow morning. This year's Masters will tee off. This year's champion. I'm doubling back. I think this was my pick last year. I had the bet on him. Came up just shy with a little bit of a meltdown on Sunday, but I'm going back to the young Swede, Ludvig Åberg. He's got a second place finish, 7th last year. Get over the hump, Ludvig. I believe in you.
I'm so in on this. Yeah,
that's because you took him in the SKS draft.
This is my pick too. He's so good, man. His swing is so perfect. Like he's got to bust through. He's always around it at almost every major. Hopefully, this is his week.
Man. You know what? I'm just going to stick with my buddy Keith.
Oh, I thought.
What?
I thought you were going to stick with your guy Maverick McNeely.
Oh no.
You've abandoned that ship?
Well, Duke, the odds of him winning are astronomical.
Yeah, they were slightly better a month ago when you're like, hey, Duke, you should put a little long-term future in on Maverick McNeely for the Masters. This is my pick this year. You said it. My pick for the Masters this year is Maverick McNeely.
Maverick's course.
So here's the deal. We had a little pool in here. SKS brought in a napkin. You think you could have a piece of paper to write on.
Yeah, we work in an office building, a studio, and he's using a napkin.
Absolute joke. Anyway, he handed it over to Fenny, and Josh picked Xander Schauffele.
It's a good pick.
Who I wanted to pick.
That's a good pick.
So
it's always around it.
Yeah. So I'll just go with Schauffele here because that's who I wanted to pick before Josh took it on me. So and that's what Keith Stewart says.
Who'd you take on the napkin?
I took Scotty Scheffler because he was still open. Why wouldn't I?
It's not a bad pick.
Not a bad pick.
You know who Eddie took? Hideki Matsuyama.
I picked him in the box for that.
You can come in this too. It's the lowest amount of money wins. The lowest amount that a golfer wins. That guy has to take everyone for lunch. So if you want to get in,
yeah, I want in.
But so you got McIlroy. You could take. No one took Rahm yet, did they?
No.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, talk to SKS.
The current prices, and this is just via DraftKings. It was the first one that came up on my Google search. Scheffler going off at 510, John Rahm 900, DeChambeau 1050, and Rory McIlroy, the defending champion, 1175. Our boy Schlemmer Ludwig at 1650, just ahead of Xander on that front for some of the odds-on favorites. But Scheffler still pretty clear of the field on that front. Rounding it out, going back to a little tale we told at the start of the show of my adventures last night, trying to be a good Samaritan and conduct a feel-good deed for a stranger, trying to boost their car for them, despite the fact that I told them it was pretty low chances of it working because my battery pack was dead. I didn't have any cables to use my truck. When conducting a good deed, trying to be a good citizen, intentions do matter more than the results, because my drive home, I did not feel good. I was like, man, I feel bad. I couldn't actually help these people. I couldn't get their car started. And this is like 11 o'clock at night. I had to go home. I was out of options to try. I didn't feel good, but I do think that intentions matter more than the final result.
Yeah, I'm with you on that situation. I mean, I think the question as a whole, you need like a little bit more details on the situation. Like what if your act or attempt to act of good service actually harms the other person?
How could that happen?
I don't know. Depends on the context.
You're like there and like someone maybe in like a wheelchair or something. You're like, oh, let me carry you up these stairs to help you because the elevator's out of service. And then you end up dropping them back down the stairs.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Has that ever happened to you?
No.
Would you do that in that scenario?
Probably not.
Did this couple, Duke, pull out a couple of hundies out of the wallet and give it to you?
No. They did not speak very good English. They were very grateful. I will say, even in my failed attempt, they were very grateful, thanking me for my time and being. I was still pouring down snow at this time, so I really appreciated that, and I was very apologetic that I couldn't get the car going. But outside of maybe Schlemmer's very specific examples here,
that was your example.
No, I provided you an example. We could.
Okay, fine.
What about you?
Have you ever had a good Samaritan act?
Yeah, actually, kind of like same deal. I was pulling my trailer and I had like both my kids and nephews in the car and the truck. It was just me, and blew out a tire on the trailer. And this farmer like came up, saw it happen, and came, and he was just like, "I'm just down the road here, just like follow me." And he had like his own little like air strip and hanger, got me to pull in, fix me up. I was ready to go in like 20 minutes.
Holy smokes. Wow.
Well, but
a lot of small town Albertans.
I have a feeling Kevin's about to feel like I've never done such a thing. Kevin's the guy that sees somebody broke down on the side of the road, flips on the bird, as he drives past, gives them a little toot on the horn and wave. Good luck.
No, I helped a guy out at a gas station. Well, it was at a tire shop, and he couldn't figure out what was going on. And he actually, what happened, he set the air and kept it on, and he blew the tire.
Oh, jeez.
So I was like, that was before I got there. So I helped him out a little bit, but I was like,
how did you help him out if the tire was blown?
Well, I would take it off, and he had that little thing in the back,
Oh, yeah, helped him change it.
Thing. But I was thinking, man, you gotta put a lot of air in for that.
That's really dangerous.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a good thing it blew before he went driving on it.
But I remember years ago, I used to have an old Jeep Renegade, and I hit the ditch driving home in Saskatchewan, and this guy he had
in Saskatchewan. How'd you know where the ditch was?
I had no idea either, man. It was rough conditions. He pulled me out with a winch, and he was on the side of the road, and I had no money to give him, none. But I felt bad about that. But
just a thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Quick tip of the cap, and on your way again, and then you hit the ditch again.
Tip of the Biltmore
mile down the road.
Tip of the Biltmore. Text 833-401-1440. Tiger says, country boy driving around without cables. My dad would be, when does he finish up here, Duke? My dad would be mad at me.
Yeah, you want to know why I don't have cables in my truck? Because growing up, anytime I did, my dad would take them out because he'd lose his at the farm and so need to use them. So eventually I just stopped keeping cables in my truck because they're just going to get taken anytime I'm at home. Same with my tools most of the time. So I keep them locked in the cab now rather than in the box.
Attaboy, Duke. That's In or Out, brought to you by Pro Solutions. Check them out at prosolutionsinc.ca. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440. We got Max Miller from the Hockey News coming up, covers the San Jose Sharks. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by All Star Construction. They shape and build Edmonton communities, specializing in underground utilities like power, like gas, like telecommunications, and also street lighting. That's All Star Construction. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day for the Edmonton Oilers as they finish off a back-to-back with a stop in San Jose against the Sharks. Puck drop coming just after 8 o'clock Mountain Time. Connor Ingram expected to get the start between the pipes. Just two other games on the schedule tonight. Rangers hosting the Sabres at MSG, and Washington trying to keep their slim playoff hopes alive as they visit the Maple Leafs in Toronto. Nominees for this year's Masterton Trophy for dedication and perseverance to the game have been announced across the league. Edmonton Oilers finalist is tonight's starter, Connor Ingram. Other notable names across the league: Sens goaltender Linus Ullmark, Rasmus Dahlin out of Buffalo, and Winnipeg Jets center Jonathan Toews. In the PWHL tonight, just one game. Seattle is in Ottawa, and BCHL playoffs continuing. Spruce Grove Saints trying to keep their season alive. They host Brooks at the Thompson Family Arena, 7 o'clock puck drop. And the Sherwood Park Crusaders leading their series 2-1. They took on Blackfalds at the Sherwood Park Arena, also starting at 7. In the association, 7 games tonight. Denver hosting Memphis, Portland in San Antonio, and the Detroit Pistons take on Milwaukee. Over in the majors, Blue Jays look to snap their losing streak in their finale against the Dodgers. First pitch coming just after 1 o'clock. It'll be Shohei Ohtani versus Dylan Cease on the bump. Elsewhere, Milwaukee and Boston. White Sox hosting the Orioles. Seattle up against Texas. And the Yankees, they continue their set against the Athletics. Coming up in hour 4 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Max Miller from the Hockey News covering the San Jose Sharks. I'm Brandon Douglas, Central Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, the Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Spring into savings at The Brick. Refresh your home with huge discounts. Save up to $1,800 on sofas and sectionals. And buy more, save more, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game and save up to 40% off select mattresses and score free delivery when you use your Flexity card. Plus, save 15% when you buy 2 or more select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, proudly Canadian since 1971.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
River Cree is the place for all your favorite sports. River Cree Resort and Casino, featuring UFC action and boxing live on the big screens at Tap 25, the MVP of sports bars, and in the center bar. Plus, catch all the biggest games, every goal, every slam dunk. River Cree is also home to the Twin Rinks, where rec hockey and community teams come to play. Public skating available. Details at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
The Critical Care On the Air Radiothon for Stars continues, presented by BHP and Parrish and Heimbecker. Your chance to support this vital service that delivers life-saving care to Albertans. Yesterday, you heard stories from Stars VIPs, very important patients, and how Stars has made a difference in their lives. You also heard from members of the Stars team and other key contributors. Today, as the fundraising efforts continue, please donate and help keep Stars flying and saving lives. Visit criticalcareontheair.ca.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Come back to the big program. 10-11 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, David Schlemko, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440. And we were talking about Duke trying to boost, charge a couple's battery here last night at the West Edmonton Mall parking lot. Danny Matthews said, I heard you say earlier, Danny texts in, that you couldn't get it to crank after charging the booster. Did you check that one of the terminals weren't loose? And the Duke says, oh, yeah, they were loose. He says, I wiggled, I spun, I squeezed.
This vehicle was not in the most premier of shape. The battery cables were not in the best condition.
What kind of vehicle?
It's like an, I don't know, like early 2000s, like little Honda SUV type thing. I don't know exactly, but it was old enough that the reason they said it was dead, they went and they'd left the lights on. All vehicles nowadays, they turn the lights off automatically, right?
Right.
These individuals driving it were not aware that they had to turn the lights off in this, and as a result, it was dead.
I'll do it.
Montana Rice says, knowing you, Kevin, you probably just confirmed to the guy that the tire was blown.
See, that's not going to work there.
Something obvious like that, and considered it helping. Get a grip.
Wow.
Josh Fenwick, have you ever helped anyone that was just needing some help? Have you done it? Have you had that opportunity? Has someone helped you?
Oh yeah, like I've had buddies help me all the time with car stuff, whatever. My one buddy changes my oil all the time just because he's cheaper than a mechanic. But yeah, like I unlike some people in this room have cables in my car. Of course, I was
gonna say, is that because you need them to boost your own car?
At times I have needed them to boost my own car for sure, because I do have the tendency to accidentally leave my lights on. Unfortunately in the winter. However, I do very nice things for people jumping the car. This winter, as a matter of fact, I had to stay in the parking lot of the airport for an hour and a half while we jumped a guy's car and he had just left it there while he was in Arizona for a week. Like no plug-in, no nothing. He was just like, we'll be fine. And I slept in the driver's side of my car while him and my friend were just sitting there shooting the breeze. I very shortly after came into work here.
You're like the king of Kensington. I mean, it's amazing.
You slept in the passenger seat.
No, I slept in the I slept in the driver's side, and every once in a while they'd tap me and say, "Can you rev the engine a little bit?" And I would put my.
Were you hammered or like what?
No, I went to go pick my friend up from the airport at like 3:00 in the morning.
That's a good friend.
And then, like, she's like, "Can we just wait until Ryan calls me and says, oh, this car, like the car's going?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." So, no, this puppy is dead. So we just sat there for a long time, revving the old engine. Finally, we got it boosted. Took a long time, evidently, but we got it there.
I don't know how they did it without you. I mean, let's be honest here. Text 833-401-1440. We're talking about the winners for golf. Husk says Tommy Fleetwood to win.
It's a good pick. He's in like that first box with all the other good guys. So like I wouldn't pick him over a lot of those guys.
But he's been sniffing around. He's a
good player. He's
a really good player. He's got his 9-wood. His 9-wood's ready to go.
I heard that. A little extra firm out there.
So you're going to go in the ranch pool?
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the ranch pool. I've got a whole bunch of entries, me and Old Man Baker. The Duke's in the ranch pool.
What are your team's names, Kevin?
They're under Carbake. We've done 3. There's 3 of them already.
I named my team Karius Gardens.
Karius Gardens. So if you look at the list, then Duke, we should be right together, no? Have you looked
yeah, because I was scrolling down to see if there was anyone else with the name Karius, but there wasn't.
Carbake. It's under Carbake, half Karius, half Baker. I saw Artie New, our good buddy out at Trestle.
Oh, yeah.
He's got, 3 or 4 teams in. So
right at the top of the list there.
You can't see anyone's picks until
tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we're excited. So Friday, we're going to have golfing with the G-Man, Gary Meyer, back for the Country Club Tour. 10 bells on Friday, every Friday moving forward.
Sweet.
Right through the summer. Gary Meyer, one of the top golf professionals in the history of Alberta. He was certainly the youngest when he became one.
How old?
I think he was 19.
Wow.
Easily the funniest golf pro. And he hates it when you say, right, Duke, he says, "I'm not a former golf pro. I'm still a golf pro."
Yeah, you were the one that was always introducing him that way. And he's like, hey, well, listen up here. I am still a pro. So then we had to change the intro for him. I had to change it on the show outline from former golf pro to just golf pro.
The golf pro Gary Meyer. He'll be in on
active lifetime achievement award golf pro.
Him and Eddie, they're on the all century team.
All century U Sports team, Eddie Steele.
Oh man. When we come back, Max Milner from the Hockey News will tee up tonight's Oilers San Jose Sharks tilt. Straight ahead on the Kevin Carey Show with David Schlemko, Duke of Delburne, and Josh Fenneman on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Whether you need bodywork, paint touch-ups, or anything in between, the family at Cougar Paint and Collision takes every customer issue to heart.
We've had a lot of really good customers over the years. One guy, he would bring in everything and he would just expect us to be able to kind of fix it. It didn't matter what it was. And one time he brought in his washing machine.
The only thing that was wrong with it was the drum was rusted out or something.
Yeah, he wasn't going to replace it.
Yeah, we had to weld it up. Anyways, he was a nice old guy. Cougar Paint and Collision, our family helping your family.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Mr. Rooter sees a UFO. Mr. Rooter says 1 plunge, 2. What's this? A UFO? An unidentified floating object. It's beginning to glow and levitate.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. You have freed us from the gravity of the white hole. Humanity will be spared.
Wow. People aren't going to believe this when I put it in our new commercial.
If you want to believe in a plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
All this month, you can get in the swing of spring with Pot for Dough at Nisku Ford. Shop amazing deals on their entire in-stock inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. You're sure to find the perfect ride. Then, with every vehicle purchase, you'll get your turn to Pot for Dough. Just sink your putt to win fantastic prizes like gas cards, big screen TVs, Blackstone griddles, and more. See dealer for full details. Find your new ride at niskuford.ca. Above expectations.
The Critical Care On the Air Radiothon for Stars continues, presented by BHP and Parrish and Heimbecker. Your chance to support this vital service that delivers life-saving care to Albertans. Yesterday, you heard stories from Stars VIPs, very important patients, and how Stars has made a difference in their lives. You also heard from members of the Stars team and other key contributors. Today, as the fundraising efforts continue, please donate and help keep Stars flying and saving lives. Visit criticalcareontheair.ca.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 10:20 in Edmonton, and time now for the game of the day. Brought to you by St. Albert Dodge. And again, the Jeep Gladiator sport packages have been here for a couple of months, and they're going quickly, but they still got a few on the lot. $49.9 gets you behind the wheel. A brand new Jeep Gladiator for under $50K. Check it out at stalbertdodge.com as we welcome back Max Miller from the Hockey News, covers the San Jose Sharks. Morning, Max. You're with Kevin Karius and the former San Jose Shark, David Schlemko. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Doing great here. Have they talked about retiring Schlemmer's jersey there in San Jose yet, or what, Max?
Kevin. Look, the fans remember David Schlemko more than I think he realized.
Oh, yeah.
David Schlemko was a good Shark.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
That's a good Shark.
Like, if people remember, good puck mover, could defend well, got the puck out. Look, the Sharks have struggled with breakouts this year. They could use a David Schlemko back there for sure.
And he could still play. I can tell you that.
Appreciate it. I don't know about that much, but
hey, has anyone asked you about Macklin Celebrini this year, Max?
You know what's funny is as we've gotten later in the year, he's had these 3 and 4 point games. We'll ask Coach Forsosky after a game about all these things that we see, and we'll then go, 2 or 3 minutes in, and we go, we've asked you 5 questions, and we haven't asked you about Macklin Celebrini. So while we are still talking about him, a lot of guys are stepping up doing other things because what he's doing is becoming just standard Macklin Celebrini. He's been incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just watching him this year evolve and and the humility, like talking about at the Olympics, I wasn't even sure if I'd get, then I wasn't sure if I'd play. I don't know. And then he's one of the best players in the tournament, man. Unreal.
So I've asked
so good.
I've asked a lot of people this, but I guess I'll ask you because you cover the Sharks. Do you think Celebrini is deserving of the Hart if the Sharks get into the playoffs?
1,000%. You make the argument. You have the standard argument. He has 51 more points, however many more points than Will Smith, but he's doing a lot more than just scoring. I mean, the leadership growth that he's shown, which you take a little bit into account with the Hart, not a ton though, but there's value in more than just offense. His work ethic away from the puck, the ability to do things the right way. When you look at the eye test of Macklin Celebrini, he fits the bill of an MVP winner because he provides so much for his team on the ice. He's getting better at faceoffs slowly but surely. He's getting put out in defensive situations late in the game with an empty net. He's not just, he's a high-skilled guy who can put a puck in the empty net. No, he's there to work hard and play defense. When he gets doubled, he'll play the wing more than the center position when they need him to score for offense late. He's in positions where you want your best player to put his value on the line in the most important situations, and he's doing that. And then you throw in the success on top of that, because when he's in those positions, he's winning those battles.
Max Miller from the Hockey News with us on Sports 1440. You mentioned it as a defensive game. How have you seen that progress over the course of the season here, Max?
His defensive game is just really good. Right, last year we saw him working hard in defensive zone stuff. Now he's still struggling a little bit, but he's a plus hockey player now. I think last I checked, he was like plus 9 or 10. Now plus or minus is not as much of a stat people look at. But when you look at, even like I was looking at, the Sharks just played Chicago. Connor Bedard was, I think, -1 this year, and he was in the -30 and -40 his first 2 years. So really, these guys have worked on the defensive side of the game, and the Sharks, who have a over -20 goal differential, that's significant to me. And there have been games where they give up 5 or 6 goals, and he'll finish. They lose a game 4-2, he'll finish +1. Mm-hmm. Lately, it's been the PK, which obviously you don't get the minus on the PK, but he works hard. You don't really see him, causing issues in the defensive zone. And the biggest part with him, and I think the best defensive thing that he added, is he's become a focal point of zone exits, and he can turn a puck over and get out of the zone, whether it's a chip out to himself, a skate out. He's developed that part, and that part is the best part of his defensive game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's an absolute stud. Let's call a spade here. How about a guy like Kiefer Sherwood? Now, I know there's a little bit of criticism. Maybe it was a little too early in the process to make this trade. He had a bit of a slow start. Where's everyone's heads there at now on him?
Yeah, the people early on, it's a transition. It's a guy who's bounced around, who's going from a market in Vancouver that is kind of reeling, and he's also coming off an injury, to up and coming San Jose market. They tried to put him with Celebrini. They tried to put him, move him around a little bit. And I think we clearly saw that he's not a top line player. He can do it in a pinch. But he's going to score for you. Like I think where he's at now is going to be a pretty standard score line. 20, 25 goals, could push 30 if he gets hot one season. But I think as they found a role for him, he's really thrived. And when you put him with smart players, guys, he's right now he's playing on the line with William Eklund and Alexander Wenberg. And you look at the makeup of that line. You give Alexander Wenberg the zone entries, William Eklund gets down low, and then you get guys who can bang a body and Kiefer Sherwood and put a puck in the net for two guys who love to facilitate the puck. That's like a perfect trio. He creates space for them to get it back to him to score. And he goes to the net front, which is something that Alexander Wenberg can do really well, but the cleanup duty is really strong from Kiefer Sherwood, and it's awesome to see. He's fit in really nicely, and he works hard, and he hit. The fans love it.
Max Miller with us on Sports 1440. Kevin Karius, David Schlemko with you here on a Wednesday morning. What about Colin Graff this year, Max? If there were 24 teams that wanted to sign him coming out of Quinnipiac, how lucky are the Sharks to get him and sign him at that point coming out of QP, to have a 20-goal season right now? And he just amazes me at the level of his intellect on the ice. And he's going to get a tremendous payday here. I don't know what they're going to have to pay him after this season, but how have you seen his evolving as a player with the Sharks here?
Yeah, that's a guy who's just quietly produced, and it's good to see him getting some recognition now. He's gotten a little bit as he's played with Macklin and Will Smith over the last little bit here, but he doesn't get any power play time at all. They'll move Adam Gaudette, who will sometimes be on the fourth line, onto the power play. Igor Chernyshov is on the second unit. Like Colin Graff is, I think he's 1 or none power play goals. When he came out of college, he was not a penalty killer, and he's a top line penalty killer for the Sharks. That kid deserves some Selke votes. I don't know if he wins it this year because there's still some defensive fault, but he is so incredibly smart. But what he does deserve is probably some Lady Byng. And he's only got 8 penalty minutes this year, and part of the Lady Byng definition is with a season of success. He's going to put up 40 to 50 points. He's going to score 20. He scored 20 plus even strength goals. That's a guy who has been smart, who has been respectful, who is just an overall a good NHL player. And to think that he doesn't get any power play time. He scored 20 goals, and he's still young. Could he get to 30 one season? Probably. And when he came out of college, he wasn't a PK guy, and the Sharks have developed him into a top flight penalty killer.
Gotta give him some credit for making the right call and the right fit too. There, right?
Well, yeah,
100%.
I mean, and then so how does Mike Greer navigate this next contract? Do you think, Max?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think Graf really loves to be in San Jose. It's a great fit for him. The system works here. There's opportunity for him to be successful. And look, I think it's a good time for him to get paid because he is getting paid before, possibly before Macklin, Celebrini, and Will Smith, right? Those two are eligible for extensions this summer. So you can kind of set up your future long term really nicely with Colin Graf. He's due for a payday. Does he value term? I think he might look for some term. I don't know. To me, the first thing that pops in my head is a 5x5 or a 5x6, right? 5-year contract just seems perfect for Colin Graf. He continues that development. He continues to be a producer, and he can fit right into as a nice, middle six forward who can play on the top line responsibly well. And if he develops more of an offensive game, which he's shown an ability to do, maybe he gets, a shorter term contract and then pushes for a second term deal.
How about another big young prospect, I guess, Sam Dickinson on the back end? He's kind of quietly had a good year. I only say quietly compared to Matthew Schaefer on the island, but how would you evaluate his year? What do you think he kind of projects to be?
Yeah, any young defenseman's having a quiet year compared to Matthew Schaefer. That
right.
It is, it's tough. Watching Schaefer is, he doesn't get off the ice. It's crazy. But Sam Dickinson is, he's found his role. He's started to defend really well, starting to defend better. It's almost like the leash has been extended. He's starting to push up more. You can see the skating ability come through. It was a slow start. And I think, fans and even a little bit myself were maybe a little frustrated that he was kind of so limited offensively. He's on the second power play unit now, and you see him using the shot more. But there's one play recently. It was against the Blues, the first matchup against the Blues at home. The Sharks lost or the play. I think it was it was against Buffalo. Jason Zucker came down the wing, and all Dickinson had to do was bury him, put him down to the ground, shove him down. Nice clean hit, not dirty in any way. And he didn't. He got outworked by Zucker, and they found a man in front against in the last Sharks game, right in the corner. Same sort of play, little different zone coverage, but he just buries his man in the corner, and the puck's free, and then they go escape out for an offensive rush. It just, you see him, he's picking things up a little quicker now, and you see him start to move the puck quicker, and his feet are moving quicker. The game is he's starting to get up to the pace of the game. So while the brain was getting there, now the feet have followed, and for a defenseman, that's huge, especially for a guy like that who they want to be an offensive defenseman in due time, and you're starting to see those tendencies come through.
Yeah, I mean, the guy in junior in London, he put the puck in net and set up plays at will almost. So do you think, how long do you think it is, Max, in the sense that Dickinson takes that next step and starts maybe generating more offense from the back end?
Yeah, I don't know if it's as much this season, just because of his role. And, Dmitry Orlov is, he's got that top unit working pretty well. I think he's starting to shoot the puck more and he's starting to chip in more. So we'll see how it goes. I think also getting, nothing against Nick Leddy or Vinny Desharnais, those two have been his team partners all season. Getting him somebody a little bit more solid defensively to kind of let him be free, right? You look at, Roman Yossi's got, defensive partner. I mean, Chara and all these offensive guys, and Adam Pelech is like the fixer-upper in the island, right? He's the guy that they've put, go be free. You look at a lot of these top defensemen where they are offensive, big offensive players, and Charlie McAvoy, they've got defensive partners who can really lock it down. But I think the thing is they want Sam Dickinson to be able to be a lockdown defenseman, and he's starting to get those abilities. So I think it'll be interesting to see what he comes with next season. He's got a great shot. And I think we have to remember he's 19, 20 years old. He's still physically developing. And as a defenseman, that's big because once he can be a little bit more physically developed, he can muscle things through a little bit easier.
For sure. Well, we've talked a lot on this show about the Oilers and what they need to do in their game. Let's ask you about the Sharks. They won 5 of their last 6 coming in. What type of game do the Sharks need to play at home tonight to beat the Oilers?
it's all got to come from defense and goaltending. If you get a good goaltending matchup tonight, if you get a good goaltending performance and the defense, helps that out, Sharks are in business. The offense can score. That's been known all year. Just crazy to say after the last, 5 years, saying the offense can score. That's been such a struggle for the Sharks. And the Sharks are, during this 5 of 6, like you said, David, they've gotten contributions up and down the lineup finally. And that's the big part. It's not relying all on Macklin Celebrini. So I think for the Sharks, everything, the offense, just let it do itself. Make sure you have a good penalty kill, because the last 3 games, it has not been good for the Sharks. I think they've given up at least 1 power play goal against in each of the last 3 games. So you've got to get that in order, especially against this Edmonton or this power play, regardless if Leon Draisaitl is there or not. And look, Edmonton's on a back-to-back. Capitalize on their top legs, work them into the ground.
Well, I mean, the Oilers are missing a couple pieces on their first PP unit, so that should be good news for the Sharks. How has their PP looked lately?
Yeah, much better as of late. It didn't score in the last game, but it went on something like an 8 for 20 stretch or something like that after going real ice cold for a while. Macklin Celebrini, I think, has passed up a couple one-time options lately, and I think they wanted to get going on that again, kind of similar to the one he had against Columbus, which was just a terrific shot. But it's getting better. And look, if the Sharks want to win, whoever wins the special teams battle tonight, I think is going to come out on top. So if the Sharks, go 1 for 4 on the power play and give up 2 power play goals against, I don't think they win the game. Where if they, give up 1 for 5 on the power play and they go 2 for 4, 3 for 4 even, I think the Sharks have a good chance of winning the game. So special teams tonight and goaltending is the big keys for me.
Well, yeah, if the Oilers score 2 power play goals tonight, Max, that would be a miracle the way this power play is going without the person.
Yeah, the Sharks PK has been letting teams figure themselves out lately, so we'll see.
A quick one on John Klingberg. Everything okay there with him?
Yeah, he's good. He's healthy. He's just not available. Look, Nick Leddy has come back from the minors and really steadied things. It's interesting to see his legs. He's kind of really adjusted his role. He can still move pretty frequently, but the big thing for Nick Leddy is just the ability to break the puck out. Him and Tim Dickinson are the best D pair in terms of breaking the puck out, which has been a struggle for the Sharks all season. It's been a lot of high flips and wraps around the boards, and those two just seem to have figured out clean breakouts, whether it's a quick pass, soft chip, whatever it may be. And so for John Klingberg, it's been tough, especially with Dmitry Orlov succeeding on the top power play unit. So as a guy who struggles to defend in a time of the year where you need defending, it's tough for him to get in the lineup, but he's been a true pro all season. We just recently had some of our votes for Immediate Good Guy. We'll find out those announcements soon here. I think it's either tonight or Saturday night. And he was on my list of 3, and I won't say where, but because he's been nothing but a professional. He's been upfront and honest with his struggles, with his successes. So he's been a good pro for the Sharks. Do I think if they re-sign him? Probably not, but he's been a true Shark, and he's been a pro, and he's really helped the room. And he's been a good character. The guys like him. He's good to be around. So I wouldn't say he's been any problem. I just think he's kind of where he's at right now. Nick Leddy has kind of swooped in and taken the part that he was supposed to help out.
Well, Schlemmer's a UFA if you need, Max.
I'll bring it to Mike. I'll say, hey, remember David Schlemmer? Let's get him back here. He's good breakout guy.
Max, thanks a lot for coming on. Enjoy the game tonight in the stretch run. It would be something if the Sharks could keep this push going and make the playoffs.
The tank in the playoffs is a special, special place, and I don't think the kids on the team are ready to see it, but I hope they do.
Yeah. Thanks, Max. Take care, man. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys.
Max Miller from Sharks Hockey Digest. And the game of the day brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where the Jeep Gladiator sport packages are going for under $50K. Check it out at stalbertdodge.com. Right now, the Sharks are 2 points back of the Kings with a game in hand, and everybody has the regulation win column on the Kings. So,
did he just throw that in at the end there? He doesn't think it's going to happen.
No, like you said, there's a lot of young kids going here.
There are.
And you think about, like, right now, Anaheim, where the Ducks are at, and Duke, I got to apologize. They got blown out last night. They lost 4 in a row.
We talked about it at the top of the show.
Gotta stop the bleeding out in Anaheim.
The first half of the game, they were running roughshod over them. Annunen kept Nashville in the game. He was excellent. But then it just completely imploded. The Ducks just stopped doing everything. They did duck things because they can't play defense, whether it be on the rush or at times inside their own zone, and nobody's back checking. It was brutal. It was a terrible, terrible second half of the game. And I keep watching the cash out option on my Ducks Pacific Division Champions future go down and down, and it has me feeling pretty low.
It's going down, Duke. There's no question about that. Ducks are 4 points ahead of LA with a game in hand. The Kings have. So
how many have they lost in a row now?
Four, I thought. Really?
Yeah, got to stop the bleeding.
I only got him at 4 in a row, Duke. Sorry, buddy. That's what I got it on NHL.com. But if you want to say 5, that's
either way. They're going the wrong direction.
That is just Duja Dubry. Hey, I just got a text from my old coworker, Kevin Jesus is his name, and he's been in charge of this thing with in town here with a time capsule. And I think you know where I'm going because we discussed this with Tyler Ennis, your old teammate from Medicine Hat. Tyler Ennis, he says, is in town for the time capsule opening.
Cool.
So this was a time capsule, and they have video of him from 26 years ago as a kid talking about his dream of being an NHLer and that one day that he'd like to play for the Oilers. So he's at this event. He's donating a jersey to the school. So I think we're going to try to get Tyler Ennis. He's in town. I don't know what time this event is, but it's not running for 4 hours, and it's not starting. Well, he's not getting out of the rack at 7:20 either. I don't think that. But maybe we can get him on tomorrow. We'll have to reach out to Tyler.
Yeah, I can ask him.
So a time capsule, man, oh man,
that's pretty cool.
If Duke, he would put jumper cables in his time capsule. That's what he would do.
Oh, that's a cool story. That's cool for those kids.
Yeah. So maybe we'll work on Tyler Ennis here. Also got a story that came out about Owen Zellweger. Have you ever worked with him?
I haven't, no.
Okay.
Just my skating coach that we used at NAX. I know he works with them, so he talks about him all the time.
And it's a weird story, and it's past your playing days, what happens now. But I was just wondering how you would handle something, and we'll discuss it at the break, and I don't want to throw a crazy curveball at you. But I thought it was quite interesting. It's just a story about, I guess, social media and where it is in hockey right now. So that's coming up right after the break. Kevin Karius, David Schlemko, Duke of Delburne, and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
It's time to hit the greens. Elevate your golf game with Country Club Tour Golf Academy. No matter your experience, our PGA of Canada teaching pros are here to help. Enjoy lessons year-round between our 7 CCT golf courses and 2 state-of-the-art indoor facilities. Choose the location convenient for you. We offer private lessons, group lessons, expert club fittings, and junior camps. Visit our website to learn more and get ready to take your game to the next level. Booking is easy. Go to countryclubtour.com/golf academy and schedule your lesson today.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, to the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Funnel my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a deal from Legacy. Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
See you later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
Free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value for a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers, and aggregate. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Looking for auto parts without the dealership price tag? You'll save big here at Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlaw. From engines and alternators to doors and glass, we carry quality tested used parts at unbeatable prices. Why spend thousands when you can spend hundreds? Keep your car and your budget running strong with Ed's Auto Salvage. I'm Lisa, inviting you to stop in soon or visit us online. We offer province-wide shipping and daily delivery to Edmonton. EdsAutosalvage.com.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 1045 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, David Schlemko with you here on a Wednesday morning. David Schlemko, powered by Cougar Paint and Collision. Our family helping your family for over 40 years. Part of the Napa Certified Auto Body Program. Check them out at cougarcollision.com. Text line 833-401-1440. A lot of people chiming in about Josh Fenwick and his tremendous humanitarian efforts. Talking about how he had a nap in the car and just ended up using his foot to step on the gas to try to accentuate the boost of a car. Montana Ray says, so you did nothing, you had a nap. He wants props for having a nap. Nail says, Josh is more like the turd of Trochu. Oh my goodness, these guys really.
That's obvious for the non-knowing. Trochu is the town just south of Delburne. It's like their biggest rival. So
Duke of Delburne.
That's Nails having my back there.
Duke of Delburne, turd of Trochu. Oh, there you go. So I brought this up before the break and with Schlemmer. And you hadn't really heard about this.
I hadn't, no.
Before. Duke of Delburne had earlier, but this is an article that came out today by Josh Cloke of Cloak of the Athletic. So it's a social media account, I guess you would call it, that's out there that monitors the habits of NHL players.
Apparently.
So the easiest way to say this is that Olin Zellweger, kind of a local guy, I guess you would say, he, after the Americans beat the Canadians at the Olympics, he got rid of 3 guys that he had followed that were Americans on the team. Jack Hughes, Austin Matthews, or 4 of them, Jack Eichel and Clayton Keller. He said he's following these guys since he was 12 years old. He gets to practice the next day in Anaheim, and the media relations guy says, hey, man, you gone viral. He goes, for what?
Wild.
So a site monitors the fact that he not blocked, just canceled out these guys.
He just unfollowed them.
So that's it's kind of scary, is it not?
So scary. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. I don't know. I don't understand it. First of all, whoever's running this account is a loser.
Yeah.
Second of all, yeah, who cares? Who cares who he follows on Instagram?
This is from former Oiler Troy Stetcher in the article. The whole league knows about it, said Stetcher, shaking his head. It's pretty invasive. So I didn't want to. I just thought it was kind of weird that it was out there today.
That's really weird to me. I don't know. I'm from a different generation, I guess. Like I kept my social media private. My roommate, my first year, Biz Nasty 2.0.
Yeah, there you go.
Kind of like the pioneer of getting like hockey players into that side of it.
Mhm.
And I remember it was not a smooth road. He was in trouble plenty of times for posting pictures or what have you on Twitter that, it's exactly what you said. It's the media shows up at practice the next day and that's what they want to talk about.
So what was that like for you then? Like, I mean, because was he trying to? I assume he's trying to
It
get
was
you.
it was just funny to me. Like he was just writing like stupid stuff, like like just took a huge dump at the Chicago O'Hare Airport, and like people are just eating it up. Like we just thought it was kind of stupid and funny, and like no one ever thought he's going to be an NHL analyst on TNT.
Was there any pushback from team league at that point with Biz?
Just the one time I remember, it was after a Halloween party one year, and Raffi Torres and his wife had gone as Jay-Z and Beyonce. So like did like the blackface thing, and Biz had posted a picture of it, and that set off a huge storm in the room. And I remember Tippett was pretty pissed about that one. It was just like, I don't care what you tweet about, but nothing more about this team ever again.
Because that's it can create rifts, I assume.
It could create rifts. It could be a distraction, but at the same time, like flip side of the coin here, I can also understand that these guys can make a ton of money now with their likeness on social media.
Sure.
Like that wasn't a thing when I was playing, not till the end anyway. So I don't know. It's tough.
Like Biz has made millions.
Oh yeah,
doing all this crap.
Well, he's not doing it because of the player he was. I'll tell you that much.
Text 833-401-1440. Gruff says, "Hey Duke, we lost to Trochu in the Bantam Provincial Finals when I played in Manville. I too am not a fan of Trochu." Well,
in my experience, very few people are. Place sucks.
There's got to be some good people in Trochu.
Oh, yeah, there's tons. I have a bunch of good friends from there. I think I've told this kind of story before, and I'm sure you can relate, Kevin, coming from a small town as well. Like growing up, Delburne had their parties, right? Like the Bush parties, the high school Bush parties, and Trochu would have theirs. And there'd always be some crossover. It's not like all the Trochu people came to ours and vice versa. But when you would go to a Trochu party, you'd always be trying to steal the Trochu girls. Because they were unfamiliar, right? You're like, I don't know these girls.
Yeah.
The Delburne ones, I know them, not interested, whatever. So, and then ditto, the Trochu guys would come to Delburne and try to do the same thing. So that created a lot of rivalry as well, battling over the ladies at the parties.
MTR wants to know, Schlemmer, did you see the full moon in Tampa Bay last night?
I just saw the highlight of it on KK's laptop when I got in here this morning. It's a tough look.
It is a tough look. Has there been a lot? I haven't really checked a lot on that.
Oh, it was all over social media last night. It was between that and the brawl in the Angels Braves game. It was tough to decide which was getting more play on Twitter and Instagram.
That's just a meme. A
couple just great viral clips in one fell swoop. way to stay relevant, baseball.
So anyway, Tiger texted in because we're talking about Duke's booster cables or lack thereof, and Tiger says, the irony is that one of Gary Myers, because we're talking about Gary coming on again on Friday for Golfing with the G-Man, he says the irony is that Gary's best joke is about jumper cables. So I texted Gary and I said, text me your joke about the booster cables. And he goes, and this is the Reader's Digest version, he goes, I go into a restaurant, they tell me I have to wear a tie. So I have to have a tie. So I go to the car and I wrap a set of booster cables around my neck. I walk back in and I say, will this work? He says, okay, but don't start anything.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, man. That's not bad. So Golfing with the G-Man coming up Friday. So who do we got who's your pick for Masters here?
I got Oberg.
You got, so the same thing, but
for this pool,
for our one with SKS.
Sure. I'll take. I don't want to take Rory again. He's not going to win it back to back. You guys show me who's available after.
Well, you just contact SKS. You're doing it.
I got it right here.
Okay.
Kevin took Scheffler. I took Oberg. Josh took Xander. SKS took Justin Rose. He wrote Junior, JR, so that's confusing. And Eddie took Hideki Matsuyama. Lowest placing guy buys lunch.
Mm.
And then he also wrote in a red pen at the bottom, "No American wins," and an exclamation point.
It's too bad.
Once again, this is all on this is all on a napkin.
So you're on a couch watching Masters for 4 days here?
I think so. I got a hockey game against the high schoolers tomorrow in St. Albert. So throw on the full gear for the first time this year. I feel awful.
If you need a good D partner, Schlemmer, just call me. We can reunite the dynamic duo from media via alumni game.
And they can pick up Laddie and Dinger.
Yeah.
For the two of them starting overtime 2-on-2. Unbelievable.
So it's all the U18, so I'm sure we'll be in tough.
Well, have a great weekend, Schlemmer. Enjoy the Masters. We'll see you on Wednesday, big guy.
Sounds good.
David Schlemko for Cougar Paint and Collision. Coming up at the top of the hour, it is Fantasy Frenzy with
the former Rochef T-Bird,
Connor Halley, and the Duke of Delburne. At 12 o'clock, it's the Lowdown with Alan Mitchell. 2 till 6, the Jason Greger Show. Now, I might need some help with what's going on with the pregame show. Would we go to the Blue Jays baseball starts at 1, so that's no go. So I would imagine Fox for an hour. Pregame show at 7 bells with Andrew Walker and Donnie P and Landon Ferraro. Postgame show to follow. I bet puck drops not till 8:20 tonight because it's a back half on a Wednesday here. I'm going 8:20 for puck drop. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 bells. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding, awswelding.ca. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Really appreciate it. Could not do it without you. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 7 bells. Until then, here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Game day for the Edmonton Oilers as they finish off a back-to-back with a stop in San Jose against the Sharks. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock Mountain Time. Pre-game coverage starting right here on Sports 1440 at 7. Just 2 other games in the NHL. Rangers hosting the Sabres at MSG, and the Washington Capitals try to keep their playoff hopes alive when they take on the Maple Leafs in Toronto. Finalists for the 2026 Bill Masterton Trophy for dedication to the game and perseverance of sportsmanship have been announced. For the Oilers, goaltender Connor Ingram will be the team's nominee. Some other notable names from around the league: Buffalo Sabres captain Rasmus Dahlin, Sens goaltender Linus Ullmark, and Winnipeg Jets center Jonathan Toews. In the PWHL, just one game tonight. Ottawa hosting Seattle, and the BCHL playoffs continue. Spruce Grove Saints trying to keep their season alive, down 3-0 in their series to Brooks. Puck drop 7 o'clock from the Thompson Family Arena. And Sherwood Park Crusaders currently leading Blackfalds 2-1. That underway also at 7 from the Sherwood Park Arena. In the association, 7 games tonight, including Denver hosting Memphis. Portland is in San Antonio. Atlanta taking on Cleveland. And the Clippers, they welcome in the OKC Thunder. Full slate of games in the majors yet again today. The Blue Jays look to snap their 6th-game skid when they finish off their series hosting the L.A. Dodgers. Dylan Cease on the bumper, Toronto. Shohei Ohtani countering for L.A. That one getting underway just after 1 o'clock Mountain Time. Elsewhere, Boston hosting Milwaukee. Cleveland up against KC. Seattle's in Texas. And the Yankees continue their set against the Athletics. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall